Next, Muncie and the Los Angeles Dodgers head to Busch Stadium to face Paul Goldschmidt and the St. Louis Cardinals.
Hits one a mile to left field. A monstrous two-run homer for Goldschmidt.
The Dodgers and Cardinals. Coverage begins tomorrow at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
And we are Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Into the end zone goes Chris Olave. KJ Hill, 6-yard touchdown catch. Right sideline and down he goes to the end zone.
WING 1410 Dayton's ESPN Radio. We're live. We're local.
What are you gonna miss? He struck him out.
We're Dayton's ESPN radio station. Now, let's send it to the WING studios for Dayton's only local sports talk show. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
Week 1 of the college football season, check. Week 1 of the NFL season, well, it's officially upon us. Welcome in. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. And finally, we only have, 4 or 5 more days of smack talking about the Bengals and Browns before we actually let the games themselves do the talking. And I'm pretty pumped about that. Actually, no, this week's game for the Browns doesn't count. Next week, after that, this is just a practice game against the Chiefs, unless they win, of course. And then you'll be very grateful that I'm off next week because I'll be. Yeah, you think I'm obnoxious now? Imagine when the Browns beat the Chiefs on Sunday, just how obnoxious I would be then. So,
oh Lord,
how was your Labor Day week? I just thought of something. This country didn't deserve Labor Day this year.
Do tell.
Nobody's working.
Oh, I know 3 people that are working.
Well, I mean, like we're working. I mean, we deserved it. But I mean, we can't have all these people choosing not to work and then grilling out yesterday.
Sparking up the grill. My Labor Day weekend was awesome. Obviously watched a ton of football, a ton of college football. Unfortunately, my second team, Florida State.
How about that? Meaningful football for the Seminoles. How about
this close to pulling off the upset win versus Notre Dame. Then I went to the movies on Monday. Went to go see the new Marvel movie. 10 Rings was awesome, by the way. All my Marvel fans out there, definitely go check it out. And then sparked up the grill again on Monday and chilled out and relaxed, man. So it was a great holiday weekend.
And by the way, if you are into gambling, if you are into drinking, if you're into gambling and drinking at the same time, Ultrafest is where it's at. I mean, gambling and drinking, all for a good cause, helping high school kids afford really expensive laptops and really expensive books. Or you can go to private school for much, or public school for much cheaper. But hey, let's make it's for a good cause. The gambling, it is a heck of a high school event. I mean, there's no better high school event than Ultrafest when you can drink and you can gamble. Good times.
Let it roll.
Yeah.
Did you win anything? Did you win any money?
Oh, no.
Because you're a semi-gambler, right?
Not a good one, but yeah, it's like golf. Gambling and golf, my skills are about the same.
Okay.
Yelling a lot, screaming a lot, cussing a lot, going home angry. Yeah, they are. They are pretty much the exact same, golf and gambling. So there you go. Okay, so it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. Week 1 of the NFL season is officially upon us, and we will have plenty of NFL discussion coming up here in just a moment. Our NFL Pro Pick'em Challenge, presented by Frickers, that will be up and live coming up here within the next 24 hours. We'll have more information for you. I had a lot of people reach out asking about that. We will have that up and rolling for you coming up here around the corner. So we got to talk on Friday, recap Ohio State's win over Minnesota, and it was kind of nice. I do really kind of like Thursday night games. I'm not saying I want Ohio State to always play on Thursday night, but I wouldn't mind a couple Thursday games sprinkled throughout the season. As weird as this sounds, not that I don't enjoy watching Ohio State on Saturday, but I just felt kind of more free on Saturday, just watching all the different college football games. What a college football Saturday it was. So many big matchups. Usually that week 1 is filled with nothing but those cupcake matchups. It's just to get your palate. You want to clean your palate a little bit. You want to kind of ease your way into the season. There was none of that between, Alabama and Miami, between, Georgia and Clemson. I mean, Minnesota is not a team that you put on the schedule week 1 so you could ease your way in. I mean, That was one heck of a test for the Buckeyes and CJ Stroud. And there was a lot of good games all around. You talked about yours with Notre Dame and Florida State. How about that? I mean, Florida State nearly pulling off the upset at home in primetime Sunday night. The atmosphere was unbelievable. Week 1 of the college football season did not disappoint. That is for dang sure.
Absolutely, man. I was locked into a ton of games. It's so funny that, you're watching a game with Penn State and Wisconsin 0-0 basically through the first half. And then you watch that identical game between Georgia and Clemson, a defensive struggle that night. But I didn't watch that game. I had my eyes stuck on the UCLA LSU game. That was the most exciting game outside of the Florida State Notre Dame game of the weekend. Like, you called it. You had a pair to pick UCLA with the upset. I wanted to pick UCLA with the upset win over LSU, but I couldn't do it. I was fooled by Coach O again. And we kind of talked about this last week about, Texas A&M giving Jimbo Fisher an extension on his contract. Well, hey, man, Coach O, the eyes are on you, man. They're looking at you because you won't be the first coach to go win a national championship and then be fired within 3 years. Ask Gene Chizik, because he was fired from Auburn the year after they won the national championship. So things down in Baton Rouge getting a little hot for Coach O.
Yeah, and by the way, that is the strangest thing. I know LSU's taken a step back, but I've never seen a coach win a championship and then get absolutely zero credit for it. Those were his guys.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't like those weren't the coach before, Les Miles. Those weren't Miles guys.
Some of them were.
But 4 years removed from taking over a program,
right,
they might be sprinkles of his guys, but it's not like those,
But you're right. He is the head coach, so he was responsible for getting Joe Burrow to come to LSU. Like, there's a big story on it on ESPN.com about, him wooing him to LSU and Nebraska, basically saying, we're cool on you and rolling with Martinez. Look how's that working out for Nebraska. But
that worked out for Joe Burrow.
Yeah, absolutely. And then also, he hired those coaches. All the coaches that, coached up his players, he hired those guys. Those were handpicked by Coach O. So he deserves credit for getting the coaches in place to coach the players and everything like that. So he deserves a lot of credit for that. But, you have to be able to restock your coaches when they move on to the next level. Once those coaches start leveling up, you have to replace them. And that's why Nick Saban is so great, because each year his coaching staff gets rated. They go to the NFL, they get head coaching jobs, and they keep on rolling because he keeps finding the right guys and coaching them up the correct way to coach his players up the correct way. I mean, look, Bill O'Brien, a guy that was at Penn State, then he went to the Houston Texans, and then he got fired, and now he's down there at Alabama calling plays, scoring 50 points in their first game. Like, nothing never changed. Like Shark was still there, or Lane Kiffin was still there. It's just like a never-ending situation down there at Alabama, and the credit all goes to Nick Saban. And with Coach O, he hasn't been able to find those other coaches to keep that ship rolling in the right direction. That's why people are looking at him all crazy.
Yeah, so over the weekend, all the criticism of LSU and Ed Orgeron, everyone was putting an asterisk next to that championship.
Oh, no.
They were doing this whole, I think Ed Orgeron, what we're finding out is that championship had more to do with the talent on the roster than Ed O. And I'm like, well, how did that talent get there?
Right.
That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I can't believe that that's the more popular narrative of that. I'm not taking away from LSU struggles last year, by the way, during a COVID season. I don't really count last year for anything. I mean, then again, when your team's successful, you count it. If they're not successful, you say, well, it was because of COVID.
The vid.
The vid, exactly. But this year, yes, I think it's fair to criticize him and say, yes, but to be on the hot seat 2 years removed, basically a year and a half removed from arguably one of the best teams, seasons of all time. I mean, that's what's crazy to me as far as that's concerned. It just amazes me so many people so critical of Ed O when it comes to LSU. But if Ed O gets no credit for the success that he's had with LSU during that stretch, then Ryan Day shouldn't get a peep of credit, right? No, he brought Justin Fields over. You mean the way Ed Orgeron brought Joe Burrow over? We could do this all day. Point is, he deserves criticism for now, but he shouldn't be on the hot seat because they lost to UCLA, who, when it's all said and done, I know this sounds dumb, but at the end of the season, if there is such thing as a good loss, that might end up being a forgivable loss when it's all said and done, because UCLA seems to be on the radar of a lot of people now saying, hey, they're 2-0 start. They didn't just beat a bad Hawaii team. They destroyed a bad Hawaii team and then got a top 25 win against LSU. That's all you can do in the non-conference, and then it's going to set them up as they head into Pac-12 play here in a few weeks. But
something I wanted to touch on with their quarterback, DTR, he was horrible versus Hawaii. I watched that game. Yeah, they blew Hawaii out, but the quarterback play was bad. The running game was strong, and the defense was strong for them in that Hawaii game. But he was real good versus LSU. He was very good. He wasn't just scrambling out the pocket. He was making throws inside the pocket and everything like that. And I know our favorite guy in the world is listening to the show, our buddy Shaw. Shaw, how do you feel? Zach Charbonnet, former 5-star running back at Michigan, played good as a freshman, got zero burn last year. Transfers home to California, goes to UCLA, puts up some good numbers versus Hawaii, but it's Hawaii, but then puts up the same exact numbers versus LSU. And now his star is rocketing, and they're talking like, oh, man, he could be a top 3-round pick. So, Shaw, I know Michigan had a good win over the weekend. Unfortunately, I know somebody got hurt for the season. That sucks for him. That
top
really
wide
sucks.
receiver.
Yeah, that's bad for you guys. But I know seeing Zach Charbonnet get a win over LSU was burning in Michigan fans' crawls, because I was watching the game. I was like, why does that name sound so familiar? And it said, the Michigan transfer scores again. I was like, yo, he used to wear that funny helmet with the wings. Not anymore, huh?
Yeah, again, we're talking about, yeah. And look, it's another team in the Big Ten that has suffered their star player season-ending injury. Of course, we saw Abraham out for the year. We knew it was bad whenever he went out. We saw the back of his leg just kind of shrivel up like it was the craziest thing. But Michigan Wolverines wide receiver Ronnie Bell out for the rest of the season with a knee injury as well. So two dynamic Big Ten players out for the season after Week 1 matchups. So Abraham out for Minnesota for the rest of the year, and the same thing for wide receiver Ronnie Bell out of Michigan. But Michigan with their win over Western Michigan at home. Sold out, packed crowd, unbelievable atmosphere. But you got to pull for the Big Ten. Doesn't mean you have to pull for Michigan, but it was a good weekend for the Big Ten, technically. Not so much for the ACC. I don't know all the talk was about Georgia's win over Clemson. But Georgia held Clemson to, 3 points? Mm-hmm. Clemson held Georgia to 10 points.
3 points.
3 points because of the pick six. And I do believe that DJ Uiagalelei, for those who were talking about him as if we don't know who he is, we got to see a good chunk of who he was last year. He was very, very good last year. I still think he's very, very good. Georgia has a lot of very experienced players on the defensive side of the ball back. It didn't surprise me to see them play that way. It shouldn't surprise me to see how poorly they played offensively, because he still runs that archaic offensive style. Like that's going to catch up with it. He's going to leave championships or at least playoffs on the table. Maybe already has, and he probably will this year. If he continues, you're going to bring, if you are Georgia and you're Kirby Smart, you're going to bring that offensive firepower. And I say that with a smile on my face. You're going to bring that offensive firepower against Alabama. You're going to do that defense is legitimate.
Oh, yeah.
Did Clemson play into it a little bit? Probably. DJ Uiagalelei took complete responsibility for the offensive woes, and that's what you like to see out of your quarterback, your leader. But I have a feeling we're going to see a lot more big games from Uiagalelei moving forward, and I think that could be chalked up as an early season, pitfall. This is why, by the way, with what we saw over the weekend, this is why I don't I like when teams schedule tough in Week 1, but then here's an example of why teams don't schedule tough in Week 1. Clemson, they were overrated coming in. That, or they just lost to a really good Georgia team.
Yeah.
Oh, man, UCLA, they're for real. They should have got more love in the preseason ranking. That, or they've beat two not-so-great teams, but they're doing what they're supposed to. It's okay. Relax. Cincinnati moves up in the AP rankings today, by the way. They beat a nobody. And it's not a shot at them. They beat a nobody, but everyone's like, oh, look how good they looked in Week 1. Well, Alabama and a lot of teams would have looked, Alabama looked fine, but a lot of teams would have looked better in Week 1 if they would have played their beat-up team in Week 1 as well. Ohio State, they got knocked they didn't look that smooth against Minnesota. That's because you're used to watching them beat up on Week 1 opponents that are usually teams that they're paying to just kind of bludgeon in Week 1 to set up their big non-conference matchup. Ohio State's going to look against Oregon as well. When I say another bad game of only 45 points, another bad game of maybe 290 yards for CJ Stroud, another game of 3 touchdowns for CJ Stroud, another week of us saying that they looked and then they're going to go blow the doors off of Akron and those teams coming up, and then we're going to say, oh man, they're clicking now. That, or they're playing the teams in Week 3 and 4 that they normally play in Weeks 1 and 2, and this is why teams don't try to challenge themselves early in the non-conference, because of boobs like me and you don't really, you're a very down the middle person. But boobs like me and you and others like to try to really psychoanalyze teams after 1 week when most teams went up against really good competition. So it was a good week. I enjoyed it. I really did.
Oh, man.
But it killed college football. How many teams did we eliminate this weekend?
No, because it's to your point about running up the score, and we talked about it the other week about Urban Meyer talking about in the Big Ten championship game versus Wisconsin trying to put up a 50-burger to impress the critics and everything like that. So for all the ACC, get ready, because Clemson's about to destroy everybody. Clemson's going to be leaving dudes out there way too long, and hopefully nobody gets hurt for them, but they're going to be running up the score on people to, prove their worth and say, like, look, we do deserve to be in the top 4. Look at what we're doing to teams. We only lost by 7 in week 1 and everything like that. That's going to be their mantra for the rest of the season, because if you take a look at who they play this upcoming season, they don't play anybody. Like, literally, they play nobody else the regular season. They don't have, who also lost, North Carolina. They wouldn't play North Carolina until the potential ACC championship game.
Which that took a hit because of their loss already in the early going.
And that one, people need to relax. I mean, they lost. Like, well, they lost to an ACC team. So they played a conference opponent. So that stuff happens. But they don't play Miami, who was also ranked start the season off until a potential ACC championship game. So all the ACC opponents, watch out, because Clemson is about to put it on everybody, including my Florida State Seminoles. So that's what's going to happen this season. Like, that's going to be their argument. They're going to be trying to blow teams out 55-14 the rest of the regular season, while everybody else is playing, while Georgia and Alabama and Texas A&M get it on, have a potential close game, while Georgia has a potential close game with Florida and everything like that. So while a lot of these other teams have like toss-up games, Clemson on paper, they have no toss-up games. They have opportunities to continue to get better, because you are allowed to get better, and blow teams out to prove your worth, while other teams start having stumbles and potential losses and things of that nature. So I don't necessarily believe it's over for a lot of teams out there. Like, I thought Clemson was going to win that game. They could have won that game, but Kirby Smart, oh my goodness, man. Like, he didn't give them any time to breathe at all. Hike, get him. Like, he was sending in, like, they're running a 3-4 defense. Like, they're literally out here running the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, dude. Like, it is crazy. They're bringing blitzers with twists and dudes off the edge. I'm like, you could see DJ back there confused and couldn't figure out where the blitz was coming from. It's almost like a cheat code. And the crazy thing about it was, earlier in the day, I was watching the same game happen, but it was vice versa. The offensive line wasn't confused versus Alabama, because Manny Diaz, the head coach for Miami, was bringing those crazy blitzes versus Alabama, but their offensive line was picking them up. You could see their young quarterback pointing out, doing all the checks and signals and everything like that. So the blitz was getting picked up. That's why you could see a former receiver like Jamison Williams get wide open, scoring a 90-something yard touchdown, because they picked up the blitz, while Clemson could not pick up the blitz at all. It was bad city for them on offense. But in hindsight, their defense held them to 3 points. So they're going to be around. They're going to be sneaking around. They may hover around, the 7 mark until like October, November, and then somebody's going to have that loss. Like, Oklahoma might lose to somebody like they're prone to do. Like, they almost lost this week to Tulane. You know what I'm saying? So they might lose to your precious Iowa State Cyclones. I know how much you love them.
So Campbell pulled out
the good 16-3 win over the weekend. They got Iowa this week. Cyhawk Trophy.
Well, as long as it's not Northern Iowa, they're fine. 16-10 over. This is what I told you the other day about, when people say, "Oh, winning is all that matters." Well, yeah, but Iowa State, a 16-10 win over Northern Iowa. It's, do you feel like winners today? I mean, you won, but there's obviously areas of concern. But
if they win this week, they will.
Like, my thing is like when Ohio State has a concerning game, they still win by 3 possessions. Iowa State, a top 7 team in the country, they have struggles and they beat Northern Iowa by 6. Big difference there. Campbell. Come on now. All right. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. You are frozen, by the way, on the video feed. So you're just like, you look very.
What type of face do I have?
You're aggressively staring at a computer. Now, to be fair, I think you're lots like that even when you get home because of what you do during the day. So there you go.
Pro Pick'em is live.
Pro Pick'em is live.
It is live.
Look at you.
It's
See, that's
live.
why Kev is locked in there on the video screen. He was making sure our Pro Pick'em was up and rolling, which it is. So here's how this is going to work. Thanks to our pals over at Frickers. Shout out to Frickers. They've provided us with more Frickers bucks. I mean, it rains Frickers bucks in here. In fact, that's the only currency that seems to be flowing in around here, to be honest with you. Like Frickers bucks is a raining here in at 1410 WING. You're allowed to laugh because no one can see it. I'm just saying, you're frozen.
Oh my goodness.
So bottom line is, head to wingam.com, the NFL Pro Pick'em Challenge presented by Frickers. Every week, submit your picks because Kevin and I were going to be talking smack all season long about who gets the most picks right. And every week, $20 in Frickers bucks will be awarded to the weekly round winners, and $100 in Frickers bucks will be awarded to the total season winner. So go register now. Get your week 1 picks submitted. Keep in mind it's Tuesday. Week 1 kicks off on Thursday night. So there you go. And the cool part is we want you to be with us from week 1 all the way through. But, if you get a friend of yours registered, which is free, by the way, it just costs you a few moments of your time. You can register on week 3 or 4, and you still have a chance to win the individual week total prizes. So keep that in mind. All right.
I am frozen.
Yeah, you're hard at work.
With my little pink
Gator.
mask.
Go Gators. That's right. Orgeron's going to head there next to Florida. All right. So with that being said, I said earlier, was Clemson eliminated from playoff contention? Which team did the most to set themselves up for a run to the playoffs, and which team is already eliminated, Kev? Which top 25 team already eliminated themselves from the playoffs on Saturday, 2 days ago? Holy moly, it's Tuesday. We'll be back in a moment. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. Which top 25 college football team already eliminated themselves from the playoffs? We'll discuss next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with
Hi, folks, it's me again, and I'm cooking in the sun just like you are. But you know, you can still plant those trees and shrubs right now, and with proper watering, still gain a full summer's growth. We keep our garden center fully stocked all summer long with thousands of good, healthy trees, shrubs, evergreens, perennials, and annuals because we know that some folks just can't get it all done in the spring. Also, this time of the year, there are lots of bargains all over our 6-acre nursery and greenhouses. We have potted rose bushes as low as $8.95, flats of annuals starting at $8.95, and hanging baskets starting at $6.95. We still have a great selection of rows of Sharon, boxwoods, hydrangeas, and barberry, and lots of ponds, pottery, and statuary. So come on out to 1309 Brand Pike, and remember, we're open 7 days.
Angie's List is now Angie. Angie connects you with top home pros who can help with projects big and small. Start your home project at Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
Hello, everyone. It's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is, fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. I'm a private real estate investor who can solve your real estate problems fast for cash. Do you want to sell and just be done with it? Okay, great. I buy vacant properties, boarded up houses, pre-foreclosures, and inherited properties. I also buy apartment buildings, rental portfolios, divorce homes. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. I look forward to solving your real estate problems today. Call me today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Hello, I'm Clerk of Court Rob Scott, serving Kettering, Centerville, Moraine, and Washington Township. From October 18th to October 29th, you can come to Kettering Municipal Court and pay off half your fines and costs, and the other half will be waived. There is nothing to fear. Come pay off half your fee.
This is brought to you by Rob Scott, Clerk of Court.
Vaccines are not enough, and accurate thermometers are essential for everyone. COVID is once again a major concern, and fever is the key symptom for both the flu and COVID. An accurate thermometer, like the Exergen temporal scanner, is essential to detect fevers early and reliably. Studies have shown that non-contact thermometers are ineffective and therefore dangerous, as they create a false sense of security. Exergen is working with a single focus to ensure that everyone who needs an accurate thermometer can purchase one. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Does it feel like finding clothes in your fit is impossible? Tired of feeling overwhelmed with options that just aren't right? Let the experts at Stitch Fix do the shopping for you. At Stitch Fix, we make sure each piece is hand-selected for your life. So whether you're staying home or on the go, Stitch Fix has the answer for what to wear. We make it easy to find what works for you. Signing up takes just a few minutes, and styles are delivered directly to your door. Get started today at StitchFix.com. Stitch Fix, your style delivered.
Get a king bed for a queen price at Mattress Firm and save up to $500 on top-rated brands like Sealy and Sleepy's.
Did you know that it's time again for the annual stock reduction auction at A. Brown & Sons Nursery? Tell all your friends and neighbors, save hundreds to thousands of dollars on trees and shrubs. A huge savings that can't be beat. This Saturday, September 11th, starting promptly at 7:19 a.m. and lasting all day long. 4 auction rings with thousands of top quality shade trees, shrubs, evergreens, ornamentals, and perennials. If you're busy in the morning, come on over in the afternoon. Don't you dare miss this amazing event. Brown's Nursery is located just 1/2 mile north of Phillipsburg on State Route 49, only 4 miles from I-70 exit 24. Visit brownsnursery.com for more details. Click on the auction link. It's the annual stock reduction auction at Brown's Nursery, happening this Saturday, September 11th. Rain or shine, delivery will be available. Masks and social distancing to follow state guidelines. Brown's Nursery this Saturday, September 11th.
There are many ways to catch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. You can catch it live right here on 1410 Wing AM, or you can stream the show at wingam.com. But now we have another way that you can take in the show. You can now watch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live on ESPN Dayton's Facebook page. Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio.
How about Miamisburg's Jackson McGowan? Woo! Jackson McGowan had this OBJ one-handed catch that was unbelievable against Alter's defense. Now, Miamisburg beat Alter this past Friday night, so congratulations to the Vikings, by the way. But what was really cool about that catch, Kev, is Ryan Day was in attendance.
Yes, sir.
I'm assuming Ryan Day was there to watch, C.J. Hicks, of course, and rightfully so. But woofa. Alter's lost 2 games already, 3 weeks into the season. They lost to Fairmont. They lost to Miamisburg. They have talent all over the place, man. But the talent's loaded in this area right now. Individual, collectively, teams, but individuals too, man. You can't go to a game on Friday night and not pinpoint at least 2 or 3 kids that are going to be playing on Saturday at some level. And it doesn't matter what level you get to playing on Saturdays in college. That's an amazing feat. But that McGowan catch was pretty dang cool. I mean, that was pretty neat. I'm doing the Buckeye Roundtable tonight with Skip Mossick and Paul Keels and those guys, and that's my my highlighted player of the area. I do got to give a shout out too. I mean, look, the bottom line is every week there's so many big performances. Every week there's someone that is just kicking behind. But that McGowan catch was unbelievable. Did you get a chance?
I saw it. Yeah. I told you one of my best friends, his son is the fullback on Miamisburg, and he sent me the video because he was down on the field.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, that happened today? It's like, this just happened. It's like, and Coach Day is in the building.
Yeah, Coach Day was there, which is pretty cool. Josh Myers. So there you go. Pretty neat, though. But I hope everyone, if you got to attend a game over the weekend, hope everyone enjoyed themselves. It is pretty cool. I can't believe we're already heading into week 4, by the way.
Goodness gracious.
Week freaking 4 is officially here. But I wanted to shout out Drew Baker, by the way. Drew Baker, the running back for Fairmont, had 245 yards, 3 touchdowns on the ground. The dude, he leads the G-Walk in rushing 3 weeks in. He has, I think, the next leading rusher in the G-Walk, the last I checked, was 140 yards behind him still. He's a full game's worth of yards ahead of the next closest rusher there. Jordan Ward with Wayne. Jordan Ward with Wayne has 3, and he's having a fantastic year, but 392 yards 3 weeks in. Mm-hmm. And normally that would be oh my goodness, because again, he has he has over 100 yards more than the third leading rusher, which is that Amable Wakalongo from Centerville. But Drew Baker, 541 yards 3 weeks in. 245 yards. CJ couldn't stop him. They couldn't stop him.
Who does he?
Exactly. Feed him. Continue to feed him. But good for Fairmont. Because that style of play, I know it's not aesthetically pleasing for football fans, but it really is aesthetically pleasing because every time they touch the ball, they're just moving down the field. They controlled the clock against CJ on Friday, 39 minutes. They had the ball, not 30, there was 33 or 34 minutes. It was unbelievable. I mean, I couldn't their opponents Trotwood couldn't control the ball against them. The time of possession, it was unbelievable. The way, but they're so well coached, they're so disciplined. They don't have a lot of penalties. They don't turn the ball over. I mean, overall, it's just Coach Miller's done a great job with that group. We've had them as our game of the week the last 2 weeks, and I want to give a shout out to Mr. Weaver, the athletic director in Fairmont, for letting us pivot so last minute last week, because when the Trotwood Springfield game got canceled, they allowed us to transition to their game, and I know that could be difficult, these smaller booths, because of COVID, not wanting to fit a lot of people in there, so I appreciate them. 33 minutes they held the ball compared to only 11 minutes for CJ, 12 minutes for CJ.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we got Wayne and Springfield this week. That's going to be a really good one. So Springfield ended up getting Lima Senior on the schedule last minute because their game at Trotwood last week got canceled. So they got Lima Senior on. I think they won 46-6. They took care of business on Saturday night as well. So they're undefeated. They got back in the groove of things. They're going to be in action coming up Friday night. Keith Byers and I will have the call for that one. Springfield at Wayne. So we're pretty pumped about that.
Let's get it on.
Keith Tolliver says congratulations to Anthony Stevens for his commitment to Minnesota.
Wow.
So yeah, a lot of Springfield's a Minnesota pipeline. How about that?
Minnesota, do it.
Minnesota.
Now you're gonna be doing it all week.
Minnesota HIO. Minnesota HIO. There you go. Okay. So college football week 1 of the season, or week 1 of the college football season, was in the books, and we talked a lot about Ohio State, Minnesota on Friday. But, got to talking. By the way, this is why I have to constantly remind people that want the 12-team playoff that I know the 14 playoff, it seems like it's a very small amount of teams that get in, because it technically is when it's all said and done. You make the playoff. We say, here's the college football playoff teams of this year. Here's your 4 teams. But do you realize that the reason that those big matchups mattered over the weekend was because there was a lot of ramifications that you were playing for something? Mm-hmm. Bragging rights, fans don't care about bragging rights. Maybe the fan, like when Ohio State and Oregon play, if the 12-team playoff existed, this Saturday's game, it would mean absolutely nothing other than, we get to say we beat a Pac-12 team and the Pac-12 is down in the dirt anyways. How much bragging are we really doing at that point when Ohio State wins on Saturday? But because of the playoff, like Oregon, Ohio State's a big deal because they're 2 big brands going head to head, but they're a big deal because Ohio State can eliminate Oregon from contention this weekend. Or Ohio State could take it in the chin and then be wondering, man, we're not in the playoff as of today. When the clock hits 0 on Saturday and Ohio State, let's say they lose to Oregon, they are not in the playoff as of that second.
Right.
Things can change. They can keep winning. Other teams, they need to count on chaos around the 14 playoff is so damn fun because week 1 matters. Week 2 matters. I'm telling you, 12-team playoff, Clemson, when they lost on Saturday, there's no worry in the world. Like Clemson's not in the playoff if it started today. If the committee met today to decide who's in, Clemson's not even being talked about. And there's a chance they could still get in because they're going to win out. They're going to bludgeon the rest of their opponents, and they're going to have to count on chaos. They're going to have to count on Georgia going down. They're going to have to count on maybe Oklahoma taking it in the chin at least once, and they have a very tough schedule. Ohio State defensively, if that's who they are the rest of the way, offensively, they're one of the top teams in the country. I have no doubt about it. Defensively, they're going to be vulnerable to be upset many times throughout the season. I'm not saying they're going to be upset many times. All I'm saying is they're going to be vulnerable against a lot of different caliber of opponents throughout the year, even in the Big Ten. We saw what Minnesota, when Ibrahim was healthy, did on the ground. Minnesota doesn't win that game no matter what, but it's a different finish to that ball game. It's not as much of a cruise to the finish line as what it was on Thursday night when Ibrahim went out. So they're going to be tested. So the playoff matters with 4 teams. When you go to 12, if you go to 8, if you go to 12, these games don't matter. And there was a lot of teams that played meaningful games. Like, how about, let's go down the list here. I mean, there's North Carolina. They lose to Virginia Tech 17-10. Now, North Carolina played Virginia Tech on the road. And that atmosphere, by the way, unfreaking believable.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was like Michael Vick was back in the city or something like that. It was insane on Friday night.
They were welcoming in Sam Howell and number 10 North Carolina. And that atmosphere. And Virginia Tech took it to them. Now, North Carolina didn't give up a ton of points. North Carolina held Virginia Tech to 17 points. If the offense of North Carolina shows up on a bad day, you would think 21 points is at least feasible, and they couldn't do it. But they lose. North Carolina's, their playoff chances are most likely shot. They're most likely shot.
They got to run the table.
Just to have a shot.
Just to have a shot. They got to run the table and meet Clemson in the ACC championship game and beat Clemson to have a sniff.
Yep.
To have a sniff at it. But that's how college football is set up. It's set up like, okay, if you're in a Power 5 conference, we'll give you a mulligan. But once you lose that second game, you're probably out. So when you start the season off with a conference opponent or a quote unquote real opponent, you're up against it. You're up against it early. We talked about Clemson and their 10-3 loss to Georgia. Like, now they're officially up against it. North Carolina, y'all up against it. Now, nobody was really picking North Carolina to be in the college football playoff, but people, including myself, had Clemson in the college football playoff. Now y'all up against it.
North Carolina, there were some, like, again, that means nothing, but like a lot of the analysts, when they would do their picks, like, the sleeper college football playoff picks. And by the way, North Carolina was one of my sleeper playoff picks just because I assumed they'd be undefeated when they got to the end of the year in the ACC title game. And basically, again, the conference championship games are playoff games. So it's just one of those where you would have had that, North Carolina, Clemson, basically with the playoff spot on the line.
Mm-hmm.
And that still might be the case. If North Carolina blows out the rest of their opponents the rest of the way and they remain undefeated until the ACC title game, they're in good shape. I mean, let's be honest, Kev. look, I mean, if we're going to talk about the easiness of Clemson's schedule, North Carolina has Georgia State up next. They'll punch them in the mouth.
Yeah.
You would hope. Yeah, Virginia after that. That could go either way. But if North Carolina is a true number 10 team, I mean, they dropped all the way to 24, by the way. I have a problem with that. They dropped all the way to 24. How do you put them at 10 one week? And because they lose by one possession on the road in a conference game, and they lost to Virginia Tech, they didn't lose to Georgia State.
Right.
If they would have played Georgia State in week 1 and North Carolina would have lost the way they did 17-10, I have no problem with them dropping all the way to 24. But you're going to drop them to 24 because they lost in conference against an extremely tough atmosphere at Virginia Tech in week 1. I think they punished the hell out of them. They punished them. And then, they got Georgia State coming up, Virginia. They could beat Virginia. They could beat Georgia Tech, Duke. Florida State, I'm interested in them. Kev, let me ask you, Florida State, from your perspective, was that a Notre Dame playing down to them, or did Florida State prove that they could play up to that level with most teams, with some of the top 10 teams in the country? What's your takeaway? That was the first game since Jameis Winston I watched at Florida State where I felt like, oh, that was pretty cool. Because there was one game after Jameis Winston left. Remember Alabama, Florida State kicked off? I forgot what season that was. And, it looked good on paper, and then Florida State, they just proved, oh, wait, that Jameis Winston's gone, and so is the Jimbo era and everything going on. That's the first time since that game where I felt like we were watching something of relevance. Florida State, did they play up to Notre Dame, or did Notre Dame play down to them? Were they playing inspired football because, of Bobby Bowden, the emotional pregame, they dedicated that game to him. The band did a really cool script, Bowden, on the field before. I thought that was pretty cool. You're a Florida State fan. What was your takeaway on that? It's big for the ACC. As crazy as it sounds, that loss was actually big for the ACC because it might have provided a sleeper team that maybe we weren't really considering at the beginning.
I was blown away how well they played. I was blown away, to be perfectly honest. There's no team in the country that I follow more than Ohio State, but a close second is Florida State. I'm locked in with Florida State almost as much as I'm locked in with Ohio State is doing with college football. I'm blown away about how well they play, especially defensively. Yes, I know they gave up 41 points to Notre Dame and everything like that. Yes. But if you watch Florida State as much as I do and saw basically bust coverages, like teams were scoring on one play drives because they would be bust coverages. They were given that effort. They were given that what for. They were trying. And I know, and it seems like a small thing, but once you get guys that are totally checked out and totally thinking about the next level and going to the NFL or transferring to whatever school they want to go to next, it's hard to change that culture. And it's looking like Coach Norvell is changing that culture slowly but surely. They got a ton of transfers on the defensive line that got after the quarterback. Now, they were down 18. In the fourth quarter and stormed back.
Quarterback change. That was huge.
They stormed back to tie the game up. If it wasn't for a couple bad snaps, not like bad snaps and the bad plays, but literally bad snaps from the center to the quarterback, they could have had a chance to go for the win. But, there were some bad snaps and everything like that with a backup center and technically the backup quarterback. So whatever the miscommunication was there, I'm going to say they played up because people, especially here, and especially because of what Notre Dame does in the playoff, people are just going to be like, well, Notre Dame sucks, man. It is what it is. But in all reality is Notre Dame is always in contention because they're winning games. And Notre Dame has a tough schedule because they play a couple Big Ten teams. They play a couple ACC teams. They play LSU, USC. So they have a sprinkle of a schedule that they play. I think Florida State played way above their heads. But the good thing about that, when you play above your heads, now you have confidence. Hey, man, we were only a couple plays away from winning that game. We were a bad snap here. We were a dropped interception away on this side from winning there. Hey, man, if coach would have put so-and-so in the game earlier, maybe we could have pulled it off. And things of that nature. So you have that confidence. Now you have your, a la quote unquote cupcake game coming up. So it's a stat game. And then you go into your conference schedule and everything like that. If you can rack up some wins before you face a Clemson, before you face a North Carolina, then we can really start to talk. But right now it's still the bubbling stages because if they'd have got that win, I'd have been all the way sold in. But they didn't. They didn't come away with it. It was awesome that they were there. I was locked in. I was highly entertained, but they didn't come away with the win. But as a fan, like, this is what you want when you're on the come up. On the come up, like they're trying to get their way back up. And I know us here in Buckeye country, we're spoiled. We're not thinking about the come up. We're thinking about the championship. The come up days, that was the Tressel era.
We don't get hyped. We stay hyped.
Yeah, like we haven't had to worry about the come up in 20 plus years. Like, so we're not even concerned about that. But the come up is a vital part of building a program. And like the way they played, the way they ran that ball, like they still can't pass protect for nothing, but they can run block. They ran for almost 300 yards. And I was looking at something last week before the game. They gave up 300 rushing yards to Notre Dame last year. They gave up 75 this year. So when you have the same guys in the backfield and a couple same guys on the offensive line, I know Notre Dame sent like 2 guys to the pros and everything like that. But when you're returning offensive line starters and the offensive backfield and running backs, and you basically take them from 300 rushing yards in one game, and then the following season you hold them to 75, that means the defensive line and the linebackers got better. And like I always say, you're allowed to get better. You're allowed to get better not only physically, but mentally, the mental part of the game and having run fits and things of that nature. They got beat by the pass by Jack Cohen, who I didn't believe could pass the ball more than 10 yards. He proved me wrong on Sunday, the former Wisconsin quarterback. So maybe Wisconsin made a bad move on kicking him out, because the way the Wisconsin quarterback threw 2 interceptions in the red zone versus Penn State, ouch.
Yeah, and that last one was they had that penalty. They got moved back a bit. He threw it away. Talking about Martinez or whatever, when he threw it away to avoid the sack, because the one thing you could not do was take a sack, and you could not get a penalty. He got tagged for intentional grounding because he threw it away to avoid the sack, and then he had to, the next play, heave it down. So yes, he threw that second pick, but is what I mean. Look, there was just not a lot of great offensive execution in that. Last thing on this ACC thing, because again, when you talk about which teams eliminated themselves from the playoffs, I guess it's which conference. Everyone's saying that the ACC, their only hope is Clemson. Kev, North Carolina has a better opportunity of having a better resume than Clemson when it's all said and done. Clemson plays nobody the rest of the way.
Right.
North Carolina still has a game on October 30th at Notre Dame.
Yep.
So if North Carolina, who, as I talked about, they have Georgia State, Virginia, Georgia Tech, Duke. Florida State's an interesting one. You're going to play Florida State, who right now not paying attention to, but by that point they could crack the top 25 if they
North Carolina last year, by the way.
So if they go, Miami, the Canes, that's a winnable game. I'm still taking North Carolina in that. But that one at Notre Dame, and then if they beat Notre Dame, that can make up for that loss on the road again. By the way, what the playoff has told us, and people are like, well, when Ohio State loses to Purdue in Iowa, they don't get the benefit of the doubt. No, what Ohio State did was they lost by 30. What North Carolina did, Kev, was lose by 1 possession. They lost 17-10.
Right.
If North Carolina runs the table in the regular season with the win at Notre Dame, the win at Notre Dame cancels out that Virginia Tech 1 possession loss on the road in week 1. Let's be clear. If you're going to lose early. Ohio State proved that in 2014 when they won the national title. If you're going to lose early. You cannot lose late. So the rest of the way, Clemson doesn't have that resume booster. They don't have Notre Dame. They don't have that. So North Carolina, if they win out and Clemson wins out, and they're both 1-loss teams in the ACC title game, and North Carolina has that Notre Dame win, that road win at Notre Dame, that ACC title game becomes a playoff game for North Carolina, in my opinion.
For sure. I think it's for both. Because I think the way
that's true, because North Carolina beating Notre Dame, that's a propped up top 10, top 15 North Carolina team that if Clemson wins can propel them into the playoff. That's a good point.
Yeah, it's rock'em sock'em. It's winner take all. And we're here hoping something like that happens, because that means it's going to be a great game, or at least great hype for the game. But I think that I would rather be sitting in Clemson's seat, because as a coach on Clemson, I'm feeling like I got more talent than anybody else in my conference. Like, okay, we can talk about like, all right, man, they have more opportunities to get bigger resume wins. I'll take my talent versus the rest of my schedule and let the chips fall where it may, because I don't think that North Carolina is nearly as talented as Clemson. And there's a lot of pitfalls on the North Carolina schedule. Like, we on paper, we say, all right, yeah, North Carolina should be able to beat Miami, but that can go either way. North Carolina should be able to beat Florida State. That didn't go their way last year when they played Florida State. So it's a lot of pitfalls on there as well. Opportunities, for sure. It's opportunities, but opportunities for them to 50-50 games. It could go either way. Like, okay, they got to play at Notre Dame. Like, okay, yeah, that's an opportunity, but Notre Dame has proven themselves year in, year out. Yeah, maybe not to win the championship, but they've proven like, all right, man, we're a team to be reckoned with. We're not a sleeper. We're not a team that you can just walk over. So they have opportunities, but I'd rather be in Clemson seat. Like, all right, I know for sure, we got more talent than everybody on our team. Whereas North Carolina, they have equal talent to a couple teams left on their schedule.
Oklahoma barely holds on against Tulane, which was an
Turnover
interesting
rattler.
game. I just saw someone say that where to go. Mike Nympher on Facebook says no one from the Big 12 is getting in. I think Oklahoma, they went out. They're fine. I think that, you're going to have Oklahoma. It's going to come down to Georgia. It's going to come down to Georgia and Alabama, of course. It could be both of those teams. We had ESPN's Adam Rittenberg on last week. He believes that the SEC is getting 2 in. He believes Clemson, Oklahoma, Georgia, and Alabama. We've seen that playoff before, but again, things could get really, really interesting because the one thing that Georgia showed us is they're dominant defensively. That defense can stifle the best offenses in the country. But what happens on that off day of the offense? Can you expect the defense? What can you expect that offense? Which, by the way, they should. You have the good quarterback. You have weapons, the run game, the offensive line. Georgia has no excuse to play that poorly. Clemson's not a defensive juggernaut, so let's just get that out of the way. But let's step away for a few moments. Did you hear about that coach that wanted to execute his team? See, you're laughing because it's funny. We'll talk about it next. If the coach really wanted to execute his team, it's not funny, but that's the whole thing. He didn't really want to execute it. Well, you just sit right there.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
5G is here, but the big carriers want you to sign a pricey long-term contract to get in on the action. Well, no more, because Straight Talk Wireless has rolled out 5G coverage nationwide with plans starting at just $35 a month with no contract. And get a Samsung Galaxy A32 5G for only $299, all on America's best networks. 5G coverage, 5G phones, less money. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. 5G capable device required, actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Goodyear believes in the power of moving forward. No matter if it's on the track, the court, or the field, movement makes us want to be more. It pushes us to go further, to show the world what we can do. Movement has the unique ability to change our perspective, to challenge us, to work for a better tomorrow. Movement can even bring us together when we're still, because if we're focused on the next move, we don't have to worry about what's behind us. Goodyear, more driven.
Get more miles on the road with O'Reilly Auto Parts. A clean fuel system means better gas mileage for your car. Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, get 2 bottles of Lucas Fuel Injector Cleaner for $8. Plus, earn double O Rewards points. For a clean, lubricated, more fuel-efficient system, stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
5G is here, but the big carriers want you to sign a pricey long-term contract to get in on the action. Well, no more, because Straight Talk Wireless has rolled out 5G coverage nationwide with plans starting at just $35 a month with no contract. And get a Samsung Galaxy A32 5G for only $299, all on America's best networks. 5G coverage, 5G phones, less money. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. 5G capable device required, actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? So you've got an oil change coming up? We can help you get started. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Castrol GTX and an STP oil filter, plus an STP air filter or cabin air filter for just $34.99. And you can get it all fast, your way. Just order online with our free same-day store pickup or next-day delivery.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Start your job today at AutoZone.com. Restrictions apply.
My husband Shane loved being a Columbus firefighter. When he arrived on scene and people were panicking, that's when he was at his best. But in 2019, the mental struggle became too much and Shane took his own life. Everyone needs help at some point. I encourage you to seek help if you need it by calling the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 800-273-8255. For mental health insurance benefit information, visit the Ohio Department of Insurance's website, insurance.ohio.gov, or call 800-686-1526 to speak to experts who can help.
Hi, John Glazer here for Glazer Soft Water. We've been making water great since 1988, and no matter what your water issues, we have solutions. Your city water can be clear, but still be hard and have the taste and odor of chlorine. Well water can look, smell, and taste terrible. Glazer Soft Water will fix your water and will even include a 7-year parts and labor warranty so you don't have to worry. Visit our website to learn more at glazersoftwater.com. Glazer Water really is better water.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Your home for fun, food, sports, and spirits is also the home for value. Frickers! Frickers' everyday values begin on Monday with boneless frickin' chicken wings. Tuesday offers traditional frickin' chicken wings. On Wednesday, enjoy a steak dinner. And on Thursday, frickin' chicken chunks. Kids eat free every day. And your favorite events are on TVs everywhere. This spring and every day, the home for everyday values is the home for fun, food, sports, and spirits. Frickers!
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Attention Class A CDL drivers. Looking to be more than just a number? Yoel Transportation in Dayton is looking for drivers with at least 1.5 years experience. Yoel has open positions for no-tarp flatbed drivers and no-touch regional or local van drivers. Yoel is ELD compliant and offers 401k with match, medical, dental, vision, holiday pay, vacation, safety bonuses, and now has a rider policy. Call Rick or Joe at 937-294-5933 and ask about the $5,000 sign-on bonus today.
Many Vietnam War veterans were unknowingly exposed to dangerous chemicals impacting their health and quality of life. There are now expanded benefits for veterans exposed to Agent Orange. Veterans with Parkinsonism, bladder cancer, or hypothyroidism who previously applied for VA disability compensation but were denied should reapply and might be eligible for retroactive compensation. Exposed veterans who have not yet applied should consider filing a new claim. For assistance, call Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission at 937-225-4801.
You may have heard that Allstate has new low auto rates, but isn't it time to see for yourself? Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 McOil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
Want free Reds tickets? How about a free MLB Network Reds bag? Maybe a Reds bobblehead? Here's an idea. How about we combine them all together and give you a chance to win a free WING Reds prize pack presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. Register daily at wingam.com. College football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Byers Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio.
500,000. Single platform for video, phone, chat, and conference rooms. Zoom enables real-time collaboration no matter where your teams are. Global enterprises trust the easy-to-use, reliable, and secure Zoom platform to power high-performance teams. Empower your workforce with Zoom. Save 15% on meetings, chat, and phone with a Zoom United bundle. Visit zoom.com/bundle. Zoom, how the world connects.
Doing the dishes doesn't need to be a fight, especially when you have Dawn Platinum on your side. With 4 times the grease cleaning power versus Dawn Non-Concentrated, Dawn Platinum's superior formula breaks down and removes 99% of food and grease residue, which means a lot less scrubbing for you. With Dawn Platinum, cleanup is so easy, regardless of your grease-fighting needs. That sink full of pots, pans, and dishes, messy counters, even some greasy laundry stains or tire rims. Leave the heavy lifting to Dawn.
WING 1410 Dayton. Dayton's ESPN Radio.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
Mow like a pro with Hustler Turf zero-turn mowers. They engineer their mowers to be maintenance and service friendly for the everyday homeowner, while not sacrificing the build and cut quality they're known for. From the heavy-duty frame to the welded steel deck to their trademark smooth track steering, Hustler Turf zero-turn mowers deliver professional-grade cut quality for a perfectly manicured lawn. Come in to Small Engine Service Pros to see the Hustler difference for yourself today. Small Engine Service Pros, 2030 North Dayton Lakeview Road, Route 235 in New Carlisle.
Hi, this is Eddie Sorrell, Service Manager, Germain Honda of Beaver Creek. When you need service, we're here Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays from 6 to 8 and Saturdays from 7 to 5. We proudly offer a state-of-the-art facility with factory-trained technicians, clean waiting room, and service department. Loaner cars are available during service and free alignment checks with any service. Be sure to stop in and ask for our $39.95 oil change special. Germain Honda of Beaver Creek, State Route 35, east of 675, between Xenia and Beaver Creek.
Angie's List is now Angie. Angie connects you with top home pros who can help with projects big and small. Start your home project at Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
Attention Class A CDL drivers. Looking to be more than just a number? Yoel Transportation in Dayton is looking for drivers with at least 1.5 years experience. Yoel has open positions for no-tarp flatbed drivers and no-touch regional or local van drivers. Yoel is ELD compliant and offers 401k with match, medical, dental, vision, holiday pay, vacation, safety bonuses, and now has a rider policy. Call Rick or Joe at 937-294-5933 and ask about the $5,000 sign-on bonus today.
He's a former Buckeyes great and now a college football Hall of Famer. And don't forget about his 13 years of NFL experience playing for the Eagles, Dolphins, Jets, and the New England Patriots. He's Dayton's own Keith Byers. Hang out with him every Monday at noon on the Keith Byers Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. On Twitter, make sure to give us a follow. Search 1410 Kinner for Justin Kinner on Twitter. That's 1410 KINNER. And ESPN Dayton for the station Twitter handle. We're live. We're local.
What are you gonna miss? He struck him up.
We're Dayton's ESPN radio station. Now, let's send it to the WING studios for Dayton's only local sports talk show. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
Oh, we're back. Just joking. Well, we're back. Michigan beat Western Michigan, so there's that. But we're back. Hour 2.
Let's get it.
You know how I know it's football season? That first hour was like, I blinked and boom, we're into hour number 2. You just heard that promo spot for the Keith Byers Show. The Keith Byers Show will be on the road tomorrow at Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken in Springfield at West Columbia Street. So make sure you, if you're out and about in the Springfield area and you want to meet the College Football Hall of Famer, 410 West Columbia Street in Springfield tomorrow. Keith will recap the Buckeyes' win over Minnesota last week, as well as talk all things college football and look ahead to week 1 of the NFL season. He'll also preview the Springfield and Wayne game, of course, that Keith and I will be on the call for this Friday night for our week 4 Glacier Softwater High School football game of the week. And yes, that's right, week 4. A week from Friday will be the halfway point of the season. I don't get it. But that's where we're at. Week 1 of the NFL season, baby. We're going to get to some NFL talk coming up here in just a little bit. So Brian Coleman on Facebook, in response to our conversation regarding college football and the reaction from takeaways of week one, he says the two best teams in the country are Alabama and Georgia. There will be two teams from the SEC in the playoff. Look, as of right now, that appears to be the case. I think that Georgia wins out. I mean, look, they're going to be, it's the SEC. There could be there's going to be some teams that pop up. I think that of the two, Georgia always seems to be the most vulnerable. I can't pick against Bama. I just can't. You know what I mean? They're at that New England Patriots type era level of the dynasty in the NFL when Tom Brady was there, where even when you think you find cracks in the foundation, it'll hold up just fine. It's fine. Like, until I see otherwise. So, but yeah, Georgia, everyone beating up on Georgia. I saw Shaw, he says, I may have been wrong about Georgia, but that offense was trash. Well, it's called doing your homework and understanding what you were watching. Kev, Georgia, we knew what they had. Like JT Daniels, very, very good quarterback. Is he a Heisman winning level quarterback? No, but he will be a quarterback that leads an undefeated Georgia team into the SEC title game with the college football playoff spot on the line, if not secured before the SEC title game. And the only thing that they have to do is not get blown out by Alabama. Now, the offense did struggle. There's no doubt about it. They struggled. They only put up 256 total yards of offense. They didn't score an offensive touchdown. Their offensive line blocked like crazy for him, though. He didn't get touched. All right. It's not like Clemson was dominating him, dominating on site. It's not like Clemson was dominating him on site. Okay. Georgia's defense had had Uyagale running all over the place like Joe Burrow. I mean, it was insane. Georgia did not have, they had a handful of wide receivers and tight ends out.
Yep.
They only had one, like if everyone's healthy, only one player started that would normally be a starter for them on offense outside of the offensive line and running backs. So there's running game, though. You should be able to run on Clemson. Like their run game should have been a little bit stronger. But it is college football. It is tough for me to wrap my head around teams not scoring in college football. Like bad teams score in college football. So that I get it. But again, when you don't have all your weapons, JT Daniels can't be JT Daniels without his weapons. They came away with the win, and that's all that you can do. And they played a very good Clemson team, and Clemson's still really good too. People who are poo-pooing on them, they are exactly why teams don't schedule tough games in week one. Because look at us. Oh, Clemson, they're. I mean, if they win out, they'll have a chance. This is why teams put the MAC teams on their schedule to start. This is why Alabama doesn't play a tough contest every single week, because you will be tested in your own conference. I give it up to Clemson and Georgia. Georgia shouldn't have to put Clemson on their schedule. Georgia has played Notre Dame. They've played Clemson. Say what you want about these SEC teams, but Georgia and Kirby Smart has continued to have the cojones to go play these top five teams in the country year in and year out. They've played the Clemsons. They've played the Notre Dames. They put Ohio State on the schedule. They're not afraid to go play these teams, and they don't have to. I would just play my Auburns, my LSUs. I would play those teams and call it a day, because they're in the playoff no matter what. But you risked losing to Clemson and then setting up, an eliminator game against Alabama in the SEC title game if you would have lost to them. Now you beat Clemson. You can afford a loss against Alabama in the SEC title game. But had they lost even by a field goal, a loss to Bama in the SEC title game, that's the nail in the coffin for them. Luckily, they came out on top. So I'm not going to bury Clemson. Clemson will be fine. They win out. They're most likely fine. As long as they don't have ugly wins against really bad teams, they'll be okay. Georgia, they're fine. They're set up. But no, I'm not going to bury either team for what we saw in week one. It was one hell of a matchup. Clemson did not play well, obviously, and they still only lost by a possession. If we're going to talk about how good Georgia's defense was, Clemson deserves some of the praise defensively as well. It's tough to hold teams to one score in a game, and Clemson and Georgia both did it.
Absolutely. And being without your two top receivers and George Pickens and I can't pronounce his name, but Jackson, his two top receivers, they weren't there for the offense of Georgia. And they basically just played smash mouth football, running the ball with Zamir White and James Cook, and just basically said, hey, if they don't score, we win. And chew clock and just play some 90s style of offense. Now, will that work the entire season? Because you do go up against other teams that can score the ball. You're going to go up against Florida in that rivalry game. Georgia will. Potentially at the end of the season, you could be facing an Alabama or a Texas A&M teams that really can score the ball. So they're going to have pitfalls in their way if they don't pick up that offense. But, throughout the regular season, you are allowed to get better. So, like I'm looking at their schedule. They got UAB, South Carolina, at Vandy, Arkansas, at Auburn, Kentucky, Florida, neutral site game, Missouri, at Tennessee, Charleston Southern, and Georgia Tech. So out of those games, obviously the ones where our eyes are going to automatically
pen
go
that
to,
works in this damn studio.
automatically our eyes are going to go to that Florida game and that Auburn game. But we know college football, crazy things happen. Can a team jump up there and bite them like South Carolina did in years past? Like South Carolina got them in years past and everything like that. So, freaky things happen in this game of college football, especially when you're a team that doesn't score a lot of points, that strictly relies on your defense, because something can go wrong special teams wise. A team can block one of your kicks and take it back to the house, or you could throw a pick six the other way, like Clemson did for them. You know what I'm saying? So when you play games like this and you just trying to smash mouth 3 yards in a cloud of dust, a la trestle ball, crazy things happen. Turnovers, fumbles, interceptions, take it back to the house. So Georgia, yes, that defense is legit. Look at the NFL draft. Look how many guys that they sent to the pros off that defense. That offense needs to step it up, and guys at their wide receiving core need to get healthy if they really want to make a run for this national championship.
Let me ask you this. The Matt on YouTube says Clemson had only 2 rushing yards. Yeah, I mean, look, defense for Georgia was just suffocating. I mean, they literally squeezed the life out of them. I mean, it was unbelievable. And again, Clemson, I don't know, offensive night mixed with a great defensive night of Georgia, or was Clemson's best shot just smothered by great defense? I don't know. We'll learn more in the coming weeks. But I do know this. Here's 2 different examples. So Ohio State beats Minnesota with great offense and not so great D. You gave up 30 points to Minnesota, but they put up 45 points on what was an average offensive night. That's what's scary about what Ohio State just did this past Thursday. Then you have Georgia, who doesn't have an offensive touchdown all night, but they basically shut out Clemson. Would you rather be Georgia? Now, keep in mind that there's 2 different ways to look at this. Would you rather be Georgia with little to no offense and arguably the best defense in all of college football, or would you rather be Ohio State, one of the best offenses in college football, and a defense that gives up 30 to Minnesota? Which would you rather be? Which is more comfortable? For me, what the history of the college football playoff has shown us, I mean, the saying is defense wins championships. So I feel like a lot of people would gravitate towards Georgia. But the college football playoff, by continuing to put Oklahoma in every single year, basically, who is all offense and no defense, I'm not saying defense doesn't matter, but I'm kind of saying defense doesn't matter. If the goal is the goal is to win a national championship, don't get me wrong. But to win a national championship, you have to at least get to the playoff. And to me, I feel better as a Buckeye fan after what we saw this past week than I do from a Georgia fan perspective. Oh, Georgia's offense was great. Well, I don't know if what we saw from Georgia was great defense as much as it was just poor offensive play. I think it's the defense, but we'll find out for sure moving forward. If Clemson all of a sudden moves forward and has these big 50-point outbursts, and it's like, okay, I think it was a little bit of mixture of both. Great defense mixed with just not a great opening night offensively for Clemson, who's replacing Trevor Lawrence after 3.5 years of him, or 3 years of him, I'm sorry. So that's where I'm at with that. Big picture, though, I would rather be Ohio State. I feel better being an Ohio State fan today than Georgia, because Georgia, you may shut out teams the rest of the way and feel good defensively, but that one average day defensively and your offense can't score, I don't know how long these weapons are going to be out for Georgia moving forward. That's a problem. For me, I feel better about being a Buckeye fan. Ohio State can give up 30 the rest of the way. They can give up on average 30 points a game. As long as they average 31 points per game offensively, they're fine. We've seen bad defensive teams make the playoff in the past, and I think we'll continue to see bad defensive teams make it in the future, because to me, college football, it's an offensive game. Mm-hmm. And that's why I think Buckeye fans should feel better about their team today than Georgia fans about theirs. So there you go.
I'm rolling with the offense as well. I would be more comfortable if I'm an Ohio State fan. Well, I am an Ohio State fan, so I feel more comfortable as a Buckeye fan because our team could score points. Yes, they got blew out by by Bama in the national championship game, but they still put more than 20 points on the board. Like 20 points in this game with Georgia and Clemson, that's a blowout. Like if Georgia would have put up 24 points, 24-3, like we're talking like, oh man, they manhandled them. But this is a one possession game because their offense couldn't move the ball. And looking back at that Georgia Clemson game, the thing for me that stood out the most for me is DJ was making, his third start of his career. And we are hyping him up as the next guy because of what Deshaun Watson did, what Trevor Lawrence did, and now we're just handing him the keys, and everybody's like, all right, well, he's going to be the next one. He's going to be the next guy taken in the first round. As a quarterback, he'll be an NFL star, just like the other guys and everything like that. I don't think the Clemson coaches did him enough favors, because I'm looking at it, and I kind of noticed this during the game. Like, they're not running the ball at all. Like, they're dropping back to pass like every single down. Like, they're not even attempting. So I'm looking at it. So the stat line says 23 carries for 2 yards. Now, we got to remember, in college football, sacks count against your rushing yards. So DJ was sacked 7 times.
Who's DJ? What's his number?
5.
DJ Uyagaway. There we go.
Big Cinco is what his nickname is. So he was sacked 7 times. So out of his 14 rushes, 7 of them were sacks. So he was minus 22 yards rushing. So you just negate that. Don't even look at that. But you look at Dixon, 1 carry, 10 yards. Will Shipley, who was a 5-star recruit that they say is going to be better than Travis Etienne, who was a 3-star recruit, by the way. 4 carries for 7 yards. Another running back, Pace, 4 carries for 7 yards. You didn't try to run the ball. You didn't try to run the ball at all. So, like, help your guys out. Because if you're just simply dropping back to pass on that aggressive defense, you're going to get your quarterback hit a ton, not only in sacks, but play action, you're going to get hit a ton. So you're looking at that. He's 13 to 37. He had 37 attempts. So you add in the sacks to that, he dropped back over 45 times. You got to balance that out a little bit, man, especially against this aggressive defense. And then vice versa, you look at what Georgia did. They ran the ball 31 times for 121 yards. The more aggressive team won the game. Not only aggressive defense, but aggressive on offense by being aggressive and running the ball. And I'm looking at Clemson. They got 1 sack because their quarterback, Georgia, wasn't dropped back over 45 times. He only dropped back 30 times.
Which is still a good chunk. So the fact that he's only sacked once and 30 dropbacks.
That's a balance was what I'm trying to say.
Oh, yeah.
You drop back 30 times, you run it 30 times. But if you drop back 45 times and you only run it 8, 9 times, you ran it 9 times with your running backs. That's ridiculous. So obviously, the coaching staff over there at Clemson knows way more about football than I ever know in my entire life. But that is quite alarming. It's not as alarming as when Ohio State decided to throw it 75 times at Purdue. You were at that game. You got to balance this stuff out, man. You got a young quarterback, and I know he's not young in our guys because he got a couple starts last year and we want to annoy him and everything like that. But you got to balance it out. You got to give your team a chance to win the game, because if you're just simply dropping back and just like, all right, man, we're just going to wing this thing, you're not going to put yourself in a position to win. You're going to put yourself in a position where DJ gets hurt and then he's out there with me and you playing quarterback.
Robert Miller on Facebook, he says, hello, Roll Tide. He's a Bama fan, and he even has his big old Alabama hat on in the profile.
Speaking of Alabama, real quick, before you go to that, Jamison Williamson, once a Buckeye, always a Buckeye, right?
How'd that performance go?
That's crazy, though. Like, he was going to be the 4th receiver on Ohio State's team. Now he's the 2nd receiver on Alabama team, 4 catches for 120-something yards.
He did pretty good. He did pretty good. I'd say that's an embarrassment of riches, all the way around. So there you go. So Robert Miller on Facebook says, hello, Roll Tide. He says, Notre Dame isn't that good. And he goes on to say, Bearcats, I understand being I don't know but he said Ohio State and Oklahoma should be out of the top 5.
Okay, so let me ask him this before you rebuttal, because I know you're locked and loaded. Who is good then? Because if Notre Dame ain't no good, Ohio State should be out of the top 10. Oklahoma should be out of the top 10. Who's good? Please, Riddle, answer me that question, because all I hear all the time is, oh, they ain't that good. They ain't that good. They ain't that good. But nobody ever says, oh, that team's good. Oh, this team is good, who you don't have a rooting interest in. So my question is, outside of Alabama, because we can all agree that they're real good, who else is good in his eyes?
Yeah, that's a good point too, by the way, because I'm Mr. Negativity. Let's be real. But a lot of people are. I always laugh when people call me negative because I'm like, everyone's negative. Like the only thing that you hear on social media and even on the show is, hey, we prop our teams up, but then we spend the rest of the 2 hours and 45 minutes telling you why all these other teams are bad. And by the way, the Bearcats should be in the top 5. Look, it's a troll job. Robert Miller is a Bama fan, and by saying that Cincinnati should be top 5 and that Ohio State should not be in the top 5, that's your good old troll job. I mean,
I did call that UC game though.
It's an A for effort.
I think I almost called out on the nose.
Called what? The game, the score?
Game. I said they were going to be a 35-0, which they were at halftime. And I was like, they're going to chew clock the entire second half. And that's exactly what they did.
and that's what happens when you play bad teams. So I'm not going to put Cincinnati in the top 5. They'll have an opportunity here. I feel bad for them. Indiana, I was dead wrong about Indiana, by the way.
I'm glad I didn't pick them this year.
We'll get to that coming up here in just a moment. But to say Ohio State and Oklahoma should be out of the top 5 doesn't make any sense. And let's be clear. Bryce Young looked good. Alabama looked good. Alabama played Miami. You should beat Miami by that much when you're Alabama. If Ohio State played Miami, I would expect that same kind of performance from Ohio State. Miami is not very good. Derek King is really good. Offensively, though, it's like the hype is always the best part of a Miami game until the game actually gets there. That's how Miami games work.
Never forget, Miami lost by 45 to North Carolina last year. They gave up 60 to North Carolina last year. So,
hey, they defensively improved because they only held, Bryce Young. And Bryce Young, by the way, had to drop back 38 times. He threw for 344 yards and 4 touchdowns. The kid looks solid. And it's very similar to what we saw from Mac Jones last year. Every wide receiver standing wide open. I'm not discrediting Bryce Young, but if you even have a lick of talent and you put him behind an Alabama offensive line and Nick Saban's arrow right now, you're throwing to wide open wide receivers, and he's making the right plays. So it sounds like I'm discrediting him. I'm not. He's doing what he's supposed to. But I will say this, 44-13 against Miami. I don't have any major takeaways here. Everyone's anointing Alabama national champions already. Alabama has a very tough stretch coming up, and I promise you, I keep saying, it's Georgia, Alabama, undefeated. Georgia has a better chance at being undefeated heading into the SEC title game, and there's a good chance Alabama may not be in the SEC title game. Kev, they're playing at Florida. All right. They play at Texas A&M. They play at Mississippi State, who I'm not saying Mississippi State's anybody, but that's a road environment. But at number 5, Texas A&M. You're playing at number 13, Florida. All right. You're playing at Auburn, who Auburn will be at the end of the year. We do not know yet, but I'm not.
If Gus Malzahn was still there, I would pick Auburn.
Yeah. And Auburn got how they got that top 25 row. But Alabama, I mean, if this is a hot take if you've heard one, but Alabama will lose once throughout this regular season. They will not be undefeated. So I get it. There's a lot of cocky Alabama fans out there, and rightfully so, because I can't sit there and say Bama fans are annoying whenever I'm a fan of a team that probably has the most annoying college football fan base in the history of athletics, and that's Ohio State fans. Ohio State fans are insufferable. We are the worst. We are the cockiest. We act as if our team is on par with Alabama, and our team's won 1 national title in the last decade, and they've won how many? But Alabama fans are insufferable, but they at least have the championships to back it up. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to bring them down a peg or two. I don't think this Bama team is as good as last year's. I still think that they're vulnerable. I still think they didn't play a very good Miami team, and time will tell. This is not that dominating team from last year. This isn't a roster filled with 5 NFL draft picks in it. All right, it's an Alabama team that's taken a step back, that looked very good in week 1. A lot of teams looked really good in week 1. Let's just put it that way. Miami, they don't have a run game. They're very good at quarterback. Offensive line shaky. Don't have a lot of weapons at wide receiver. The coach is still a question mark. Who knows if that's the right guy to move them forward. The bottom line is Alabama will not go undefeated this season. If that's enough to get them to the SEC title game and get them to the playoffs still, more power to you. 1 loss doesn't eliminate you. But they're not going to win at Florida. They're not going to win at Texas A&M, and they're not going to win at Auburn. I mean, what I mean is they're not going to go undefeated on the road against all 3 of those opponents. There's a loss in there somewhere. I want to say Texas A&M. That's a huge game for Jimbo to prove that he earned that money that he got, which he technically has. I ain't going to say he hasn't earned it, but that was a down payment to keep him in Texas.
Out of those games, as much as a Jimbo guy as I am, kind of sometimes, I don't think that A&M's got him this year. I just don't. last year was their shot to get them, and I just don't think it's this year. I know A&M has a really good defense.
Shaw, A&M isn't beating Bama. Shaw, Georgia's not beating Clemson. Oh,
I know A&M has a real good defense. And something that I've noticed about a lot of teams and the reasons that guys from Alabama seem to be butt naked wide open is because you can't get pressure on the quarterback. So you start sending blitzes, and that obviously leaves more receivers on routes than you have in coverage. So somebody's open. So obviously the majority of the credit obviously goes to the head guy, Nick Saban, but I want to give whoever the heck their offensive line coach is and the players picking up those blitz protections, because I saw Manny Diaz and them bringing safeties down in the box, bringing linebackers off the edge, and him just standing in the pocket without a care in the world because he knew he wasn't going to get hit. And for a freshman quarterback just to stand there in the pocket, know he's not going to get hit, know his running back is going to pick up the outside blitzer, and know that his offensive line is going to shift and pick up that safety blitz so he can step up in the pocket and make a perfect throw. Like, that's confidence, and confidence to know everybody's going to do their job. So kudos to Nick Saban, kudos to the offensive line coach, and kudos to the players for doing their job the correct way. It's almost like kind of like, hey, man, I don't know if this could work because obviously, like I say a million times, these coaches know more about football than I do. But, man, I'm dropping dudes in the coverage, man, because I can't continue to give up these 50-yard bombs, man. I just can't, man. Like, it would be prideful in me. Like, look, man, we're going to make them earn it. Like, if they're going to score, we're going to make them go 80 yards in 15 plays. I'm not giving up one-play drives anymore. I know it sounds a lot easier said than done, but man, like butt naked wide open. Like this butt naked wide open thing has been going on for 3 quarterbacks now. Like something's got to change, right? We got to change up our coverage, right? I don't know.
All right, it's the Justin Kinder Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. David Shaw pumping his chest because I knew Indiana wasn't going to be good. Oh, that's a real hot take, by the way. Indiana, who's never been known to be good at absolutely anything football related. Your hot take is, I knew Indiana wasn't going to be very good. Oh, that's really stepping out on a limb on that one. Stepping out on a limb is me saying that, and you last year saying Indiana's going to be good this year. That's stepping out on a limb. David Shaw doing this, I knew Indiana wasn't going to be good. I knew it. Hey,
I'll say it like this. I'm not a Kirk Ferentz dude, but that's the team that I would be worried about seeing in the Big Ten championship game. Buckeyes, the way they run that ball versus the way
that's what we just saw with Ibrahim.
Exactly, and they got 2 running backs that can tote that rock. So when Ibrahim went down, their running game went kaputsville because the other dude wasn't as good. They got 2 of them. So I'm not saying they could beat Ohio State, but hey, man, that's that style of offense that they run, and they're not just ground and pound. Like, they kind of spread it out as well. They have a history of beating Ohio State. Hey, it's early. It's week 1, but okay, Iowa. I see you, Kirk Ferentz. Not a fan of you, but I see you.
Yeah, Alabama fans, just hold the brakes, as Shaw would say. Alabama's really good. They deserve every bit of overhype that they get. Last year, they were the real deal, no doubt about it. They were the real deal. Bryce Young looked really, really good. They're still the real deal this year, but I don't think that everyone's saying that Alabama's on an island by themselves. I do not see that. That defense lost a ton to the draft as well. So what I need to see is what Alabama looks like when they play a good offensive team, because Alabama's going to score with everybody, just like Ohio State's going to score with everybody. Normally, I would say just like Clemson's going to score with everybody. That clearly proved to be the case. And by the way, if Georgia's defense, because my thing about that Clemson game is we've seen DJ Uiagalelei play at such a high level. The dude throws for 300+ yards a game. He throws a crap load of touchdowns. We know what he's capable of. We saw it last year. He didn't just play in 1 game. He played in 4, Kev. Like, the dude could play. Okay, the dude could play. We've seen it. So what I'm saying is either he had an off night or Georgia's defense was just suffocating. And if that's the case, what will Alabama's offense and Bryce Young, first-year quarterback, look like against the Georgia defense? Which we won't find that out until December. But the point is, and that it's a lot of time, he'll be like a sophomore quarterback by that point and whatever. But the point is until we see Alabama play a defense like that, I don't think about it. If Georgia's defense is what we think it is and what we saw this past week, and it doesn't matter. C.J. Stroud, they're all in trouble. Georgia's the real deal. If that defense is exactly what we saw yesterday, but we shall see. That's all. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. And by the way, with Haynes King, quarterback at Texas A&M, threw 3 picks against Kent State, of all teams, by the way. But they won 41-10 over the weekend. And again, they have Colorado coming up. They have a couple games that they can kind of ease into it. He threw for 300 yards, a couple touchdowns. Bottom line is, first-year quarterback, very young. This is a young season for college football. I felt like we were talking about the same quarterbacks forever. Mac Jones, even though he was only the starter for 1 year, it was that roster for Alabama we've been talking about for a while. We've been talking about, Waddle and those receivers. We've been talking about that group for a while. So this is like Bama hit reset. Clemson hit reset. Ohio State's resetting. Texas A&M has a freshman first-year quarterback. I mean, everyone around the league. I mean, the quarterbacks we're talking about are North Carolina's Sam Howell, Derek King from Miami. Well, I mean, they're most likely these guys aren't going to be playing in January in the college football playoff. It's going to be the teams with newcomers at quarterbacks that'll still be in the playoffs when it's all said and done. So it's going to be a fun year. It's already been a fun week 1, and a lot of big games coming up here in week 2. So Notre Dame's coach, Brian Kelly, he's quite the comedian. And he was a little upset. His team didn't win pretty. Kev Nash's Florida State Seminoles, I mean, they frustrated Brian Kelly.
Close.
They frustrated Brian Kelly to the point where he wanted to execute his team after the game. Oh, my goodness. Why would a coach want to do that? Why would you think that a coach is serious? We'll get to that next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be partly cloudy, a high near 88. Tonight will be cloudy with showers, a low near 63. And tomorrow will be partly cloudy, a high near 80. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
I'm Serena Williams. You watch me live on TV. So why am I in a British drama you watch on demand?
Fancy a dance with idea?
Sure. It's because DirecTV Stream brings the best of live TV and on demand together.
Oh, you're quite the dancer.
Mr. Jeffries, you're making me blush.
Oh.
Introducing DirecTV Stream, the best of live TV and on demand with no annual contract. Get your TV together at directtv.com.
Requires high-speed internet and compatible device. Content varies by package and location. Restrictions apply.
O'Reilly. Ready for an oil change? Visit the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts to get everything you need. Right now, get 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil for just $28.95 and earn double O rewards points with your purchase. Protect your engine against sludge and wear with Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil. On sale now at O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Attention men under the age of 35. You know what really impresses the ladies? When a guy has a few drinks and later gets pulled over for buzzed driving. That could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. There goes let's grab dinner and a movie. Oh, I know. You drive more carefully when you're buzzed. You've proven that hundreds of times. A woman admires that kind of confidence. And you've practiced how to speak if a cop does pull you over. Slowly, clearly, and politely like, "Good evening, officer." A woman admires that kind of foresight. And what woman doesn't find it adorable that you call it buzzed even though the law calls it drunk? You can kiss $10,000 goodbye, along with any chance of having a girlfriend. Because nothing says, "I'm a catch," more than a guy who lives in his parents' basement and calls it my place.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Whoa, long time no see. It's me, the Rock t-shirt in the back of your closet. Dude, remember? You crowd surfed in me, man. But you haven't worn me in like forever. I get it, you're retired, but I still got some rock left in me. So take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff, create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Over the last year and a half, we all learned some hard lessons.
One of the most important is that you can't put off the inevitable. Hi, this is Mark Davis at Dayton Memorial Park Cemetery and Mausoleums. No matter how hard it is to think about, we all need a final resting place. When pre-planning with your funeral home, please remember that cemetery arrangements must also be made. Call us today at 937-890-1831 or visit our website at DaytonMemorialPark.com. And remember, Dayton Memorial Park is a beautiful place to celebrate life.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers. $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freight. Apply today at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Get more light and save energy with a quad burst folding bulb from Menards. The 4 ultra bright panels adjust to multiple angles, providing light where it's needed most. Ideal for garages and storage areas. Pick it up for $21.97 after sale price and 11% rebate. That's more than $8 off. Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Good through September 11th. Savings are mail and rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Your home for fun, food, sports, and spirits is also the home for value. Frickers! Frickers' everyday values begin on Monday with boneless frickin' chicken wings. Tuesday offers traditional frickin' chicken wings. On Wednesday, enjoy a steak dinner. And on Thursday, frickin' chicken chunks. Kids eat free every day. And your favorite events are on TVs everywhere. This spring and every day, the home for everyday values is the home for fun, food, sports, and spirits. Frickers!
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Hi, folks, it's me again, and I'm cooking in the sun just like you are. But you know, you can still plant those trees and shrubs right now, and with proper watering, still gain a full summer's growth. We keep our garden center fully stocked all summer long with thousands of good, healthy trees, shrubs, evergreens, perennials, and annuals, because we know that some folks just can't get it all done in the spring. Also, this time of the year, there are lots of bargains all over our 6-acre nursery and greenhouses. We have potted rose bushes as low as $8.95, flats of annuals starting at $8.95, and hanging baskets starting at $6.95. We still have a great selection of Rose of Sharon, boxwoods, hydrangeas, and barberry, and lots of ponds, pottery, and statuary. So come on out to 1309 Brand Pike, and remember, we're open 7 days.
Collett Propane is proud to serve the greater Miami Valley. 98% of our customers would recommend switching over to Collett Propane. Summertime is the best time to switch suppliers. Tank set specials are available now. Purchase options like budget billing and pre-buy are available too. Collett Propane keeps things simple. Find out more online at collettpropane.com or visit us in Xenia, Wilmington, or Lebanon. Collett Propane, proudly keeping the Miami Valley warm for over 65 years.
Hi, this is Sales Manager Jason High of Germain Honda Beaver Creek. Personally, inviting you to take advantage of the 0% financing on the Honda HR-V, Passport, and Pilot. Germain Honda has over 200 new Hondas to choose from, including the redesigned 2021 Honda Ridgeline and the 2022 Honda Odyssey, plus over 30 of the brand new 2022 Honda Civics to choose from. Now that's a selection no one else in the region can claim. Route 35 just east of 675 between Xenia and Beaver Creek. Germain Honda Beaver Creek, the right car, the right price, the right way.
Guys, stop putting your love life on hold. U.S. Pharmacy has some exciting news. If you've been wanting to try Viagra or Cialis, now's the perfect time. Call today and receive 90 little blue or little yellow pills for only $119 with free shipping. Why order some low-dose sildenafil from one of those subscription services when we can give you what you want now? Call 800-990-6271 and we'll rush your order discreetly packaged to your door. Been thinking about trying Viagra or Cialis? Call U.S. Pharmacy at 800-990-6271 for as little as only $119 for 90 pills. Need your package in a hurry? Call 800-990-6271 and ask about our express shipping option, and we'll rush your order to you as soon as possible. Save money on the little blue or yellow pill you've been wanting to try. Again, 800-990-6271 now. That's 800-990-6271.
Get a king bed for a queen price at Mattress Firm and save up to $500 on top-rated brands like Sealy and Sleepy's.
Mow like a pro with Hustler Turf zero-turn mowers. They engineer their mowers to be maintenance and service friendly for the everyday homeowner while not sacrificing the build and cut quality they're known for. From the heavy-duty frame to the welded steel deck to their trademark smooth track steering, Hustler Turf zero-turn mowers deliver professional grade cut quality for a perfectly manicured lawn. Come in to Small Engine Service Pros to see the Hustler difference for yourself today. Small Engine Service Pros, 2030 North Dayton Lakeview Road, Route 235 in New Carlisle.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. Weekdays at 3 p.m. right here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com.
The ESPN Dayton Pro Football Challenge at wingam.com. Go to wingam.com and submit your Week 1 NFL picks. $25 in Frickers Fun Bucks goes to the weekly round winners, plus $100 in Frickers Fun Bucks will be awarded to the season winner. So register at wingam.com. ESPN Radio's Jason Fitz will be a regular part of the show every Thursday throughout the NFL season, and that starts this Thursday. Looking forward to chatting with him. On Friday, former host of Mike and Mike in the Morning, Mike Golick, just got word from him. He's going to hang out with us here. Not Mike Golick Jr., which we do love Mike Golick Jr., don't get me wrong, but Mike Golick Sr. We will chat with him ahead of the NFL kicking off coming up this Sunday. So
OG.
So there you go. But get registered for the Pro Football Challenge at wingam.com. For those of you watching live on the Facebook and YouTube feed, I put that link in the comments section, so go and check it out. And man, I tell you what is Shaw being all emotional for? He says, you can hate me all you want, but I do know a little bit. Huh?
What happened now?
It's a day that ends in Y for him. I have no idea. I don't know what he's getting all up in his feelings. He was wrong about Georgia, so he's been crying and complaining in the comment section the whole time. I don't know what to tell him. Speaking of sensitivity, thank you, Shaw, for providing an easy transition into the next part of the conversation here. But speaking of sensitivity, look, I do believe that we as a society have to be more hyper aware of things that can be offensive to people and bother people and that type of thing. But at the same time, I do believe that at times we do go way too far with what we let offend us. And this thing with Notre Dame over the weekend, like it should have been about Notre Dame escaping, avoiding an upset loss on the road in one heck of an environment, and arguably the best college football game of the weekend. I know Georgia Clemson was hyped the most. It was tagged as the number one game. It was still a close one-possession game and all that, but the game of the weekend, without a shadow of a doubt, was Notre Dame and Florida State. That should have been the talk. And instead, was it a poor choice of a phrase or of a joke from a movie quote and Brian Kelly using the, I don't know, maybe I'll have to execute my team. Folks, here's what I always have to ask myself when I hear something that makes me cringe. The only reason I cringed at what he said is because I know how society works today, where we have to be offended and bothered by absolutely everything. And the problem I have with that is that when we do get to the point where there are things that we should be sensitive to, where there are things that we need to be a little bit more cautious of how we phrase things, it's hard to get people to take those things serious because we let stupid things like this dominate the headlines to where we have to get all up in our feelings and lose sleep and bitch and moan and cry and complain. Because, he made a movie joke quote. He made a movie quote, and it was a joke, but I'm offended. Shut up. If you actually believe that a coach, after a big win on the road, avoiding an upset, if you truly believe that a coach wanted to take his team back to the locker room and execute them, I feel bad that I share this earth with you. I really do. I am so annoyed that I share this earth with individuals who truly thought that Brian Kelly was going to go execute his team after the game. Like, how stupid do you have to be? There are a lot of things, there are things I need to be more sensitive to in life. I can acknowledge that I am not perfect. I will never be perfect. There's always going to be room for growth, and society norms will always change. All right. I never once defended Tom Brenneman's movie quote line that he used whenever he got, the big Castellanos, thing that came out of that. Okay. I never defended that. I don't believe that he is a homophobe by any means, but I do believe that he is a guy that is very insensitive using the line that he did. I don't believe that Brian Kelly at all was insensitive with that. Like, I do believe that at times there are people who are insensitive, and then there's times where people are sensitive, but I don't always think that they go together. I don't think Brian Kelly was insensitive, but I do believe everybody's being sensitive. This was not something to get. If you want to say maybe he probably shouldn't have said that, fine. But to have a Twitter uproar for it to be trending that he said that, that's annoying. It really is. And Brian Kelly, I don't even like Brian Kelly. I don't like Notre Dame. I can't stand Notre Dame. Anytime there's a way for people to pile on Notre Dame, I'm all for it. But not this time, not on this. The fact that Brian Kelly in a post game had to spend most of it, shooing off his critics because of that, that's unbearable for me. I'm not going to support that. That's ridiculous. There are too many things that coaches and players and athletes and everyone has said and done that I believe needs more attention to be able to bring attention to things that we need to be more sensitive to. This, a movie quote, it wasn't race related. It wasn't, sexual orientation related. It wasn't anything. It was a movie quote that if you actually listened to it and took it serious, you were the problem, not Brian Kelly. But Brian Kelly had to apologize. And I just wish for once in these situations that an athlete or a coach would speak out and say, yeah, I'm not apologizing. I hate that he apologized. I wouldn't have apologized. I would have doubled down and said, so it's a problem that I said that there's people upset. Well, I'm sorry you're upset, but I'm not sorry that I said that movie line. The context was key. And I think people just need to stop letting everything bother them, especially stuff that doesn't really bother you. People say stuff bothers them that I don't think really bothers them. And that's the problem I have. And when it comes time to addressing real issues in life that needs to be brought attention to, it waters those moments down because of situations like this. Because of situations like this, it's hard to take real serious matters serious because as a whole, all we get is, typical. This whole world's sensitive. It's sensitive. In this situation, the world's being sensitive. Give me a break. This is, the times we live in, he shouldn't have said that. No. What do you mean what times we're living in? Even if 15 years ago he would have said this, there would have been people that were crying and moaning and complaining. Just stop. Just stop letting every little thing bother you. The only reason I cringed when I heard it is because I knew people were going to react to it the way that they did. I didn't cringe because I had a problem with what he said. I cringed because I'm like, here we go. Buckle up. We're going for a ride. And that's exactly what we did. Now, Kev, if you were offended by it, then I have to retract what I said, because I called you an idiot, apparently. But yeah.
No, I wasn't offended by it. Maybe because I'm old enough to know that the former Buccaneers coach said
that sounded like you said, yeah. Never mind.
That's why I'm with you. I don't understand why people are so bent out of shape. Could it just be the people that didn't know, this is an old quote from a former coach himself, John McKay, the former head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when they were in their first season and they were absolutely horrendous, everything like that. Could it be that this is new for this generation and they've never heard someone say this before? Because, maybe if I never heard it before, maybe I would be bent out of shape. But it's just something like from my days of taping NFL primetime on VHS tapes back when I was a kid and everything like that. I've heard, Chris Berman quote this. I've heard every sports guy across the country quote this when a team is having a bad season and everything like that. And it's a joking manner. It's just been lately where everything that a coach says or anyone says that is remotely near joking, people get bent out of shape about it. So I question who are the people that are bent out of shape. I'm sure it's not the older people who knew that where this saying stemmed from. So that's my question for people that are bent out of shape. Did you know this is stemming from a quote that came from back in the day from a coach who was also making a joke then about his team's execution, meaning their execution of play, execution of defense, execution of special teams, execution of anything that's happening on the field of play? Did you know that? Or are you really thinking he's talking about execution as in
Yeah, I said movie line. My bad. It wasn't a movie line.
You're fine.
I said movie line, but it wasn't a movie line.
It sounds like one, doesn't it? Sounds like something should be in what's a football movie from back in the 70s? The Mean Machine or something like that. Like, it definitely sounds like it. But yeah, this is a quote that an old coach said back in the day. And it was funny then. It's funny now. That's what I did. I busted out laughing. I was like, he pulled out the old school line. And then the next morning when I turned on the TV, that was what they were talking about instead of an outstanding game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a person that is here for the entertainment of the game. I'm not here for the play, the joke, or the stuff that doesn't happen on the field. Like, this was an outstanding game. Removing myself from being a Florida State fan, just as a fan of football, this was a highly entertaining game. So you're talking about this more than the actual game. Like, yo, you had a kid out there and Mackenzie Milton who almost died. He almost died on the football field, almost had his leg amputated, who came back.
That was a serious possibility.
Yeah, he came back and played football. You had a guy in Jack Cohen who transferred from Wisconsin because they said he wasn't good enough, and then just played the game of his life. He threw 4 touchdown passes, threw for like 380-something yards. You have a team in Florida State who's trying to rebound, a storied program, a team of the 90s that's trying to get back up off the mat. You have Brian Kelly, the Notre Dame program, who's trying to get over the hump and win a college football playoff game, not just get to the college football playoff, just win one game. So you have so many storylines, and this is the storyline that not only, sports shows are talking about, but the fans themselves. Like, so I don't agree with you a lot about like what fans do and what fans are talking about, because I don't pay them too much of attention. But this really irked me because it was just a great game, and he made a joke about an old guy making another joke and referencing it because his team executed poorly down the stretch of the game. You had an 18-point lead in the fourth quarter, and in football, that doesn't happen. That happens in basketball. That doesn't happen in football. So his team did execute poorly down the stretch of the game. He was speaking facts. So people that are bent out of shape about it, man, relax, man. This is entertainment. This is football. And I agree with you 100%. The things that people should be bent out of shape about, things that really go wrong in this country, things that are really happening in this country, you're quiet as a church mouse. You don't have anything to say. But this, you're up in arms. Relax a little bit, chill out, don't take yourself so seriously.
Yeah, and like that was my point, is like when we do get to a point where we do talk about things that are serious, there's too many of these examples that we get in an uproar over that have now put all matters of uproar under one umbrella. Right. And then it's hard to get people to focus and zero in on the matter at hand, the conversation at hand, when it does come to serious conversations that we need to have. This wasn't one. What are we going to take away from here? Thou shall not, use for, I mean, I don't even know. I said it was a movie quote, not a movie quote, but you know what the heck I mean. But the point is, though, with all of this is like one of those, like, man, the other day, Kev pulled a prank on me. I could have killed him. Imagine the newspaper. Oh, man, Justin Kinner threatened to kill his co-host. Like, do you realize how stupid that would be? That's what this is. This is stupid.
Right.
That's why I tweeted out, oh, thank goodness Brian Kelly explained himself. I really thought he was going to go execute his team after his team just went on the road in a week 1, very tough environment that could have literally eliminated them from the play. Yeah, people, stop. There's so much more things in life to get uproared about. This isn't one of them. Brian Staley, he asked, who is offended besides the sports media? Not Notre Dame fans or casual fans of college football, only those fans and media who root for Notre Dame to lose every week behind closed doors. Well, don't do this whole woe is us, everyone to get Notre Dame against the world, yada yada. Your team, they suck. So I just want to throw that out. Just joking, Brian.
I saw that
down.
Notre Dame.
Brian, calm down. Relax.
They released a statement during the post game. As I'm watching the post game and everything like that, they issued a statement about it. And I'm sure, I mean, and I guess it's the right thing to do. I'm sure that SID heard it and was like, man, we got to get ahead of this before it blows up, and release a statement and everything like that. I mean, if that's the world we live in, where you have to issue apologies before your coach can even make a statement about it, like it was out before the post-game press conferences started and everything like that. So, I mean, I'm with you, man. Like, it's a lot of things wrong in this world that people say nothing about, but they have something to say about this. I don't get it. That's a bit much for me. And then when we do start talking about the real stuff, they say stick to sports.
Yeah, they say stick to sports, or they say, oh, here we go, being sensitive again. And that was my point, is when stuff like this happens, it gets lumped in with the real serious stuff, and then we get the same pushback that we get on this of, oh, well, I don't know. It's just, so Brian Staley, by the way, Kev says, had Ohio State or Clemson head coach said this statement, nothing would have been said. Brian, come on. That is so not true. That is not true. This wasn't because it was Notre Dame. I'm telling you right now, any coach that would have said that in a post game, especially on a Sunday night game when that was the only game going on and all eyes were on that, it was a culmination of the brand, yes, and because it is Notre Dame, but Ohio State, they get crapped on just as media is looking for reasons to discredit you. This isn't a Notre Dame thing, Brian. Don't do the Notre Dame versus the world approach. Don't do this, oh, everyone hates us, but we're really great. No, people hate on you because you're not in a conference, because your program's a wuss. They should be in a conference. They hate on Notre Dame because when they do get in the playoff, they look like they should play in the MAC. There's a lot of reasons to dislike Notre Dame. This isn't one of them. No one was coming at Notre Dame because they're Notre Dame. If Ryan Day would have said this, if Dabo, you mean to tell me Dabo would not have got heat for this? Dabo became very unlikable over the last year. Dabo definitely would have got heat for this. Nick Saban would have got heat for this. So there you go. Anyways, I got to go before Debbie kills me. What? Someone's going to kill Kenner? Oh, my God. What? You see how ridiculous that sounds? Actually, people are like, actually, you know what? Go for it. All right, we'll be back in a moment. Hour 3 coming up next. The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. I'm done with college football talk. We'll talk more college football later in the week as we get set for week 2. Ohio State, Oregon. Actually, you know what? I lied. I have one more college football topic for you before we move on to the Browns and the Bengals for this weekend's week 1 kickoff. Are you going to the Oregon game this weekend?
I am not. I gave up my tickets.
Oh, you gave up your tickets, man. So that means, folks, if you were wanting to go to a game, there is a couple tickets available. And by a couple, I mean, there are 10,000.
And two.
There are over 10,000 tickets available. This is
just barely over.
A top 25 showdown. Ohio State against Oregon. At the Shoe. Maybe it's because it's not being played under the lights. That might have a problem. That might be part of the problem. How is it that Ohio State has not sold out this Oregon game? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Over 10,000 tickets are still available for Ohio State, Oregon. What is going on in Columbus? Maybe it does mean more in the SEC. Stirring the pot. There he goes. We'll be back. Hour 3 next.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
Of all the things you do to protect your health, none is more important than staying on your medication. And here's a little encouragement. At CVS, you can earn up to 50 extra bucks rewards each year just for filling your prescriptions. That's healthier, made easier. Visit your local CVS to sign up and start earning now. Terms and conditions apply. Not available in all states. See cvs.com/RX rewards or the pharmacy for details.
Oh, according to research, 82% of people remember radio ads. So 82% of you listening will remember that this is an ad for ZipRecruiter. 82% of you will note that if you're hiring, ZipRecruiter finds qualified people for your job. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And 82% of you will remember that you can try ZipRecruiter for free, but you have to go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Yes, free. Again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 McOil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
We're short of PCO today. Let's try to stay on schedule.
New customers have Emery's exterminator business buzzing. She needs new specialists to tackle a swarm of appointments.
Norwegian tree mouse. That's a first.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. With Indeed Instant Match, we immediately show you quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Today on Hey Culligan's Smart Home, Smarter Water Softener, here's Kevin.
Hey Culligan, can a smart water softener lift those heavy salt bags for me?
Kevin, it can.
Wait, it can?
Yep, the smart high-efficiency water softener from Culligan can alert your dealer when the salt needs to be replaced, and they'll do it for you, so your water stays soft and you stay away from lifting the bags.
I mean, I could lift them if I wanted.
No judgment here, Kevin. We're happy to do it, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test with the local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
Do you have outstanding fines and court costs in Kettering Municipal Court?
Hello, I'm Clerk of Court Rob Scott, serving Kettering, Centerville, Moraine, and Washington Township in Kettering Municipal Court. We are offering this one-time amnesty event in our court from October 19th to October 29th for you to pay off half your outstanding fines and costs, and the other half will be waived. Have questions? Call me, Rob Scott, at 937-296-2461, or go to KetteringMunicipalCourt.com. There is nothing to fear. Come into our court to pay off your outstanding fees and costs. Get the other half waived.
This is brought to you by Rob Scott, Clerk of Court.
If you've had a car accident, the first call should be to Blake Maisland.
That's right. With the sun going down a little earlier, with the leaves on the road, with the rain, it just lends itself to more injuries. You just have to remember, you only need one number, and that's the number 4. We are here for you 24 hours a day.
444-4444 or wantmore.com. Your organization will give you an absolute free evaluation.
And we work the case for you for free all the way through unless we win.
You have rooted yourself in Dayton.
Sure. Well, we all are in Dayton together. And when things happen, everybody needs to come together and everybody has something to offer. I'm lucky enough that I went through law school. Everyone in our own firm brings a talent and we make sure that whatever's necessary for your case to win it, that's what we do.
444-4444 or online at wantmore.com. Attorney Blake Maisland. He's there to help 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
We are Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Into the end zone goes Chris Olave. KJ Hill, 6-yard touchdown catch. Right sideline and down he goes to the end zone.
WING 1410 Dayton, Dayton's ESPN Radio.
Soft teeth run in my family, so I don't need to go to the dentist because it won't help, right?
Actually, your family history does not necessarily determine whether you'll get cavities or develop gum disease. Your own behavior can prevent dental disease. By regularly seeing a dentist and brushing twice a day, flossing once a day, and avoiding tobacco products and sugary foods and drinks, you can put yourself on the right path to having healthy teeth and gums for a lifetime.
To find an Ohio Dental Association member dentist in your area, visit associationsadvanceohio.com.
Being in the Army National Guard is about more than just serving your country. It's about being there for your community when your neighbors need you most. The Army National Guard makes college affordable. Serving part-time lets you attend school full-time while you take advantage of education benefits that can help you graduate debt-free. If a civilian career is your goal, serving part-time allows you to work at a full-time job. The skills, qualities, and contacts you'll develop in the Guard can open doors to a great civilian career. Want to serve but worried about being away from friends and family? Part-time service in the Army National Guard allows you to serve close to home. Serving in the Army National Guard lets you have the life you want while you enjoy the many benefits of serving your community and nation. You owe it to yourself to learn more about how the Army National Guard can fit into your life. Visit NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Ohio Army National Guard, aired by the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Get a king bed for a queen price at Mattress Firm and save up to $500 on top-rated brands like Sealy and Sleepy's.
Hey everybody, it's Stephen A. Smith, and everyone knows my feelings on Cowboys fans. But really, Justin Kenner, you're a Cowboys fan and a Browns fan? Good Lord have mercy. I don't know what the hell to do with y'all. I really don't.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio. We're live. We're local. We're Dayton's ESPN radio
when you need auto parts, O'ReillyAuto.com is just a few clicks away. We offer convenient options for you to get your parts quickly. Order online and pick up for free at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. We'll even bring it out curbside. Or you can have your parts delivered right to your door with free shipping on most orders over $35. Visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The Labor Day savings inside the Home Depot means something different once you're back out there doing. For example, in here, it's a wide selection of top-rated appliances, but out there, it's your home running like a well-oiled machine. Order in-store, online, or in the Home Depot app and get free delivery and flexible installation, so you save money and time. Right now, you can save big on a new LG wash tower at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Valid through September 15th, 2021. U.S. only while supplies last. See store for details.
Is your prostate waking you up more often than your alarm clock? The fact is, the older you get, the more likely you'll have prostate problems, which can affect your everyday life. That's where Prostate Complete by Real Health comes in. Prostate Complete is the result of 20 years of experience as a leader in men's health. The powerful formula in Prostate Complete supports natural prostate function and reduced urinary urges for a better quality of life. Available at Walmart. Visit prostateoneperday.com for special offers. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Your home for fun, food, sports, and spirits is also the home for value. Frickers. Frickers Everyday Values begin on Monday with boneless frickin' chicken wings. Tuesday offers traditional frickin' chicken wings. On Wednesday, enjoy a steak dinner. And on Thursday, frickin' chicken chunks. Kids eat free every day. And your favorite events are on TVs everywhere. This spring and every day, the home for everyday values is the home for fun, food, sports, and spirits. Frickers.
This is Education Matters with Ohio Education Association President Scott Damaro.
As we face uncertainties over how this new school year will go, we know there are major challenges ahead. Approaches to reopening schools will vary, but the health and safety of students, school staff, and communities must always be the top priority. One thing is certain, whether teaching online or in person, Ohio's educators are dedicated to every student's success.
Education Matters, brought to you by the Ohio Education Association.
Hi, John Glazer here for Glazer Soft Water. We've been making water great since 1988, and no matter what your water issues, we have solutions. Your city water can be clear, but still be hard and have the taste and odor of chlorine. Well water can look, smell, and taste terrible. Glazer Soft Water will fix your water and will even include a 7-year parts and labor warranty, so you don't have to worry. Visit our website to learn more at glazersoftwater.com. Glazer Water really is better water.
Get a king bed for a queen price at Mattress Firm and save up to $500 on top-rated brands like Sealy and Sleepy's.
The Reds are on the radio. Every hit, every strikeout, every Reds victory. You can catch all of the action all season long right here on Dayton's home of the Reds, 1410 ESPN Radio. College football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Byers Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio. We're live. We're local.
What are you gonna miss? He struck him out.
We're Dayton's ESPN radio station. Now, let's send it to the WING studios for Dayton's only local sports talk show. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
All right, we welcome you back. The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. The camera, you were getting half your face. We can't fix it right now.
No.
You know.
Fix that.
There we go. Oh, O'Reilly's. Oh, that's, look at it. Yeah. Add that She's
Hi,
a list
Mom.
list of responsibilities. Camera guy. There you go. All right, we welcome you back. Justin Kinner, Kevin Nash with you here. Week 1 of the NFL season is officially upon us. We head into week 4 of the high school football season, week 2 of the college football season. Bottom line is it's football season, and we are officially here. That's all that matters. All summer, April with the draft, all summer, all the talk, all of it. It's here, and that's all that matters. The season
finally
kicks off Thursday night. Cowboys and Bucks. Pretty cool. Ohio State has Oregon coming up on Saturday. But I want to talk about that Ohio State-Oregon. I know I said it was done with college, but I forgot about this particular storyline that I thought was interesting. Came across this online. But Ohio State and Oregon, a huge showdown at the Shoe coming up. It's, a humongous non-conference game. It's a big game. It's a bigger game. I don't know who it's a bigger game for. I would assume Oregon, because beating Ohio State would really propel Oregon right to the top. Not number one team, but they'd be right there in the top 6 or whatever if they're able to pull out. Even if they lose by one possession to Ohio State, they're going to move up those rankings. It's a big game for Oregon. It's a big game for Ohio State. This is their premier non-conference matchup. This is the final. This is the biggest non-conference game they have until they get deep into Big Ten play. They technically already started Big Ten play with their opening win last Thursday night against Minnesota. But this big one against Oregon, so Ohio State, it's never about who they play. It's always about just going to the Shoe to watch them. I've always said that. If I've always been critical, for a Dayton Flyers conversation real quick, I used to be real critical of their schedule. I can't believe they don't bring in better teams. They have the best fans in college, one of the best fan bases in college basketball. Why would they not reward their fans with better games? Now, to be fair, they do. They get SEC teams in there, but that's their cherry on top of the schedule. It's really not, they don't bring a lot of good teams into UD Arena. They do a lot of bye games. They go on the road and they play in those invitationals. And I used to be real critical of that. I've changed my stance on that, because the bottom line is why bring in bigger teams and risk losing if you don't have to? At the end of the day, you're playing the teams you need to when you go into those invitationals, and you're going to play, in Maui and whatnot. And I've always joked that, it's really, if your fan base loves you, they're going to go watch you no matter who you play. It shouldn't be about other teams. That's like having to have somebody else find a way to please your girl because you can't do it. If you can't do it on your own and you need somebody else to do it for you, then you're not that, you're not that good. That's a very inappropriate analogy. I'm so sorry. But the bottom line is that's what this is. If you have to rely on opponents to come in to put fans in your arena, in your stadium, that's not a good thing. In Ohio State, this isn't about Oregon. It's not that no one wants to watch Oregon. This is a top 25 showdown. Why are fans not lining up to go to this game, Kev? 10,000 seats remain unsold. Now, that may not sound like a lot, but and I don't want to hear that it's COVID. It can't be COVID, because did you see those pan shots of all these games all weekend? COVID wasn't a concern across the country. I have a hard time believing that in little old Columbus, Ohio, you know what I mean? But in Columbus, Ohio, that's the pocket where everyone's yeah, I can't go to a football game because COVID. I highly doubt that. What is it, Kev? Why are 10,000 fans? Michigan drew 110,000 fans this past weekend to watch Western Michigan. All right. I don't get it. Nebraska, they're a train wreck. Their sold out streak of 58 years has continued.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a hard time. I don't get it. What is it about this Oregon game that is easily bigger than Akron and every other game they're going to have on the schedule outside of the Big Ten? Why is this the game that everyone is not going to? This should be the game that everyone's going to. Maybe it has something to do with ticket prices, but have you ever gone to Ohio State and said, man, we come here because the tickets are affordable? No, nobody goes to Ohio State games because the tickets are affordable. Everyone always gives up their left arm to be able to get tickets to go to a Buckeye game. Why? $160 right now for very high up nosebleed seats. But again, that doesn't matter. We've seen that Field of Dreams game, Kev. It was $1,500 for bad seats just to go to Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. Well, whatever. Why aren't fans lining up to go to this Oregon game? It's all over social media. They've already posted it that 10,000 tickets still remain for Ohio State Oregon home opener.
I don't know, man, because I'm looking at the weather. So on Saturday, it's supposed to be 82 as a high. That's a perfect weather for September for a football game. It's not going to be 100% humidity. I've been to games where the humidity's been crazy, and I've been on in seat deck dying, hoping that Ohio State blows them out by halftime so I could leave. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've paid all this money for tickets, parking, pregame, and everything like that. And I'm hoping, like, all right, man, let's get up about 4 touchdowns so I can leave. But we're not going to have that type of weather on Saturday. I can only speak for myself because I did have tickets to this Saturday's game versus Oregon, you know, the biggest non-conference matchup for the Buckeyes this season. I'm actually going home to visit my parents and my grandmother that following Saturday. And the wife and I had a discussion about, like, all right, is this like the smartest thing in the world to do? Like, after watching college football all weekend, because like you said, it was over. Wasn't no COVID and everything like that. It was mask off season and people are having a good time enjoying college football, and that's fine and everything like that. But for us, we decided that, you know, going home to see our parents was more important than going to this Buckeye game and everything like that. But with that said, if we weren't going to see our parents and my grandmother, we will be going, because this is the biggest game of the season, non-conference. Obviously, you know, the Penn State game is still on the schedule. Michigan's still on the schedule and everything like that. Those are big games as well. But this is, you don't get to see Oregon come to town every year like you could go see Penn State every year if you wanted to. So I'm not sure if COVID is the reason over 10,000 tickets are still up for grabs for people. I have no idea why. Like, because all across the country, it's sold out. I mean, Minnesota was sold out on a Thursday night, you know, so I don't understand why Ohio State isn't sold out. I'm not sure. I couldn't give you a good answer for other people. I can only speak for myself about why I'm not going. But like I said, if I wasn't going home to see my parents, I would be there. You know, I would roll the dice, you know. I mean, I've rolled the dice by going on vacation to Las Vegas. I've rolled the dice by going on vacation to Chicago, and thank goodness I haven't.
You rolled the dice in Las Vegas. I mean, let's be real.
And came up craps because I'm playing. But yeah, like, those are my personal reasons. I can't speak for other people, like, because it's always 100,000 people in there. Could it be the ticket prices? Could it be we are, as a fan base, you know, spoiled, saying like, we'll save it until we go to the Big Ten championship game? Nah, we'll save it till we go to the college football playoff. Could it be that? I don't know.
All right, 518-1410. That's the number to call in. Buckeye fans, let's hear from you. 518-1410. 518-1410. So we'll step away for a few moments. You can also head to Facebook and search The Justin Kinner Show. You can also find ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel and jump in the conversation there. But I want to hear from you, Buckeye fans. Why do you believe 10,000 seats remain for Ohio State, Oregon on Saturday?
Why do you think it is?
I don't have a good enough reason. Every answer I want to give, it doesn't stick well with me. Look, COVID, are people more cautious because of COVID? Yes. But look around the country. Do you think that it's not stopping anybody? And It's not stopping the masses. I know there are people out there like you. You just gave an example of, well, you want to go to the game, but you also are going to go visit, your parents and your grandmother. And it's like, if you go to the game, sure, you've been to Vegas, you've been to places where you could have got it and you're fortunate that you didn't. But imagine if you went to the Buckeye game, got COVID, and then either couldn't see your grandparents, who you don't get to see often, or saw them, didn't know you were sick, and then passed it on to them.
That's exactly what it was. Like, it's a different thing where, the wife and I are going on a vacation, then we're coming home to each other. And
thanks, by the way. Yeah.
I got tested when I got back from Vegas.
Right. It's okay. Priorities, I'm just
I got my brain tickled when I got back.
It is what it is. Don't worry. Luckily, I didn't get it, folks. My goodness. No, but in all seriousness, so when I say COVID, I'm like, well, I have a hard time believing that there would be 10,000 more fans at a game if there wasn't COVID. I just don't it's Ohio State football. It's a religion. Like, people are nuts. And I have a hard time believing that Michigan fans would put 110,000 fans in the Big House to watch Western Michigan, but Ohio State can't put 100,000+ fans at the Shoe to watch Oregon. I don't buy that. Maybe it's the ticket prices, but again, tickets are always expensive.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But 518-1410, what do you, the listeners, really think is the reasoning for why there are 10,000 seats remaining for this weekend's Ohio State-Oregon game? Now, maybe by the time we get to kickoff on Saturday, it'll be sold out. And is it the end of the world if it's not sold out? No, but it is an interesting tale of the tape because Ohio State football is a religion itself. To me, it's strange. It's a weird headline, and it's not me pushing it out. It's all over social media. All the Buckeye sites have pushed it out there.
Because this is the game of the week. I looked at the slate. There's not a ton of good games. Ohio State, Oregon is the game of the week. You got the Iowa State. That's also a good game on there. But like outside of those two games, there aren't like a ton of other games to be like, all right, I got to make sure I'm in home and in time to check out this next game. Because when you do go to a college football game, you are missing out on other games. Like, you know, if you wanted to see, I don't know, the Iowa game, you're going to miss a big chunk of it by going to the Ohio State game, you know, because it kicks off at noon. It'll be over by like 4. You'll be stuck in traffic for an hour. You'll get home probably by like the third, fourth quarter of that game. So like people that give those type of excuses, well, it's only one other game on this week. There's not a ton of other games, like die-hard games that you got to see. There isn't a LSU Bama. There isn't a Bama Georgia game on. There isn't an old school Florida State game on. It isn't any of those. There isn't like a Michigan Penn State game on. There isn't UCLA USC. You know what I'm saying? It isn't one of those type of matchups that are on this weekend that would make 10,000 people say, oh man, I'm not going to the Ohio State game. I'll watch it at home because I want to see this other game too. That's a lot of my thought process on when I decide to go to Ohio State games or not. I look at the slate of games for the whole weekend and decide like, all right, this is the game I want to go to this week because there's nothing really going on this week. I'll go check out this game unless Ohio State has a big time matchup like this one, which I had tickets to, but you know, those parents, you know, you got to see them.
Could it be that it's a noon game? Could it be? Because two factors here. Ohio State, Oregon. If the game was at night, I would pay $160 to go sit in the nosebleeds if those are the only tickets available. Is it $160 to sit in the nosebleeds for a noon game?
In the sun.
Maybe the sun, but is it the perception? I mean, I'm a snob when it comes to these games. I hate noon kickoffs for primetime games. And by the way, just because you call it primetime doesn't mean it's primetime. Big noon kickoff is not a primetime game. I don't care if you put your primetime teams there. That is not the best game of the week is kicking off at noon this weekend. I have a problem with that. And no, it's not because it's Ohio State. I'm adamant, like that's across the board. I deal with the Ohio State-Michigan noon kickoff because it's tradition. Whatever. But this
is November and it's already dark by the time.
Yeah, exactly. But
it's dark at noon in November.
I'm not even trying to be like light and loose about this. I hate noon kickoffs. I mean, I know we joke about it, but I adamantly hate it. Like I do feel like the Oregon-Ohio State game kicking off at noon takes away a little bit of its luster. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's because it's the Pac-12 and that conference is taking a beating. And in Oregon, we could try to convince you that it's a big matchup. But I mean, is Oregon anything special that we need to overspend money for? Maybe fans are like, I'd rather overspend for Penn State tickets later in the year, who just got a big win over Wisconsin. I don't know. 518-1410. Enough of us rambling. Let's hear you guys ramble. Why do you believe this game's not sold out? What's taking so long to sell this game out when some other not so aesthetically pleasing matchups over the weekend were sold out across the country, including Michigan, welcoming in Western Michigan? They were sold out. 109,000 fans of the Big House. Unbelievable. We'll be back. 518-1410.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be partly cloudy, a high near 88. Tonight will be cloudy with showers, a low near 63. And tomorrow will be partly cloudy, a high near 80. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather is brought to you by Cullet Seal Coating, protecting the asphalt surfaces at your home, office, or commercial property. Introducing infrared patching, a new technology for your property. This service and more at culletsealcoating.com.
500,000 businesses connect using Zoom, a single platform for video, phone, chat, and conference rooms. Zoom enables real-time collaboration no matter where your teams are. Global enterprises trust the easy-to-use, reliable, and secure Zoom platform to power high-performance teams. Empower your workforce with Zoom. Save 15% on meetings, chat, and phone with a Zoom United bundle. Visit zoom.com/bundle. Zoom, how the world connects.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 McOil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
Hey, here to tell you about my friends at Cordell Transportation. They're now hiring Class A CDL drivers and offering a $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, a $5,000 sign-on bonus, home daily, dedicated lanes, and no-touch freight. Brand new equipment as well, medical, dental, vision, and company-paid life insurance. Call Cody right now. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Hi folks, it's me again, and I'm cooking in the sun just like you are. But you know, you can still plant those trees and shrubs right now, and with proper watering, still gain a full summer's growth. We keep our garden center fully stocked all summer long with thousands of good, healthy trees, shrubs, evergreens, perennials, and annuals, because we know that some folks just can't get it all done in the spring. Also, this time of the year, there are lots of bargains all over our 6-acre nursery and greenhouses. We have potted rose bushes as low as $8.95, flats of annuals starting at $8.95, and hanging baskets starting at $6.95. We still have a great selection of Rose of Sharon, boxwoods, hydrangeas, and barberry, and lots of ponds, pottery, and statuary. So come on out to 1309 Brand Pike, and remember, we're open 7 days.
Many Vietnam War veterans were unknowingly exposed to dangerous chemicals impacting their health and quality of life. There are now expanded benefits for veterans exposed to Agent Orange. Veterans with Parkinsonism, bladder cancer, or hypothyroidism who previously applied for VA disability compensation but were denied should reapply and might be eligible for retroactive compensation. Exposed veterans who have not yet applied should consider filing a new claim. For assistance, call Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission at 937-225-4801.
Hey there, what are you doing today? Would whatever it is be easier with faster, more reliable home internet? If you said yes, we have good news. Viasat offers high-speed satellite internet wherever you live, even if cable providers don't go there. So you can get online today and tomorrow. Go to Viasat.com/internet now and save up to $150 on select home plans. That's Viasat.com/internet now. Minimum 24-month service term. Service is not available in all areas. See Viasat.com for additional terms and conditions.
Over the last year and a half, we all learned some hard lessons. One of the most important is that you can't put off the inevitable. Hi, this is Mark Davis at Dayton Memorial Park Cemetery and Mausoleums. No matter how hard it is to think about, we all need a final resting place. When pre-planning with your funeral home, please remember that cemetery arrangements must also be made. Call us today at 937-890-1831 or visit our website at DaytonMemorialPark.com. And remember, Dayton Memorial Park is a beautiful place to celebrate life.
Attention Class A CDL drivers. Looking to be more than just a number? Yoel Transportation in Dayton is looking for drivers with at least 1.5 years experience. Yoel has open positions for no-tarp flatbed drivers and no-touch regional or local van drivers. Yoel is ELD compliant and offers 401k with match, medical, dental, vision, holiday pay, vacation, safety bonuses, and now has a rider policy. Call Rick or Joe at 937-294-5933 and ask about the $5,000 sign-on bonus today.
Guys, stop putting your love life on hold. U.S. Pharmacy has some exciting news. If you've been wanting to try Viagra or Cialis, now's the perfect time. Call today and receive 90 little blue or little yellow pills for only $119 with free shipping. Why order some low-dose sildenafil from one of those subscription services when we can give you what you want now? Call 800-990-6271 and we'll rush your order discreetly packaged to your door. Been thinking about trying Viagra or Cialis? Call U.S. Pharmacy at 800-990-6271 for as little as only $119 for 90 pills. Need your package in a hurry? Call 800-990-6271 and ask about our express shipping option, and we'll rush your order to you as soon as possible. Save money on the little blue or yellow pill you've been wanting to try. Again, 800-990-6271 now. That's 800-990-6271.
Get a king bed for a queen price at Mattress Firm and save up to $500 on top-rated brands like Sealy and Sleepy's.
Want free Reds tickets? How about a free MLB Network Reds bag? Maybe a Reds bobblehead? Here's an idea. How about we combine them all together and give you a chance to win a free WING Reds prize pack presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. Register daily at wingam.com. On Twitter, make sure to give us a follow. Search 1410 Kinner for Justin Kinner on Twitter. That's 1410 KINNER and ESPN Dayton for the station Twitter handle.
Justin Kinner, Kev Nash back with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Ohio State, Oregon, week 2 college football action. This Saturday, 10:30. Coverage begins right here on 1410 Wing AM. A noon kick. Of course, you know my feelings on that. I hate noon kicks for primetime games. I don't care if you try to brand it. Oh, that's our primetime. No, primetime is not at noon. Just because you bill it as that, it doesn't mean that it's primetime game. It's primetime caliber, but it's not. That's not prime time. Let's just put it that way. But Ohio State, Oregon this week at the Shoe, the biggest, what should be the biggest ticket of the season for Ohio State, especially considering they play at that team up north. And you know, at least this game will actually give them a challenge. So you have Ohio State, you have Oregon on Saturday. It's the hottest, it's the biggest game of the weekend, by the way. Like, there's no other game matchup that's bigger than that. You have Iowa State and Iowa. That's going to be a big one right there. Iowa State, you know, when Iowa beats Iowa State on the weekend, everyone's going to start drooling over Iowa. The bottom line is Iowa State's overrated. Iowa's just solid. Oh, Iowa's good. They're okay. But, you know, it is what they're Northwestern of last year. They're Indiana of last year. They're just solid. They're okay. You know, it is what it is, but they're not winning a national championship. They're not competing for the playoffs. So it is what it is. But bottom line is this. How in the world is there 10,000 seats? How in the world is there 10,000 tickets still up for grabs for this weekend's game against Oregon? Now, Ohio State sells out against Florida Atlantic. They sell out against Akron, Ohio, Miami of Ohio. They sell out against all these bad teams. But Oregon, they can't seem to get the full shoe fill. Big shoes to fill. But don't know what it is. So Charles Tackett on Facebook, Kev, says multiple reasons why there are a ton of tickets remaining. It's a noon start, the cost, COVID. Well, again, when they play Akron in a few weeks at noon, it'll be sold out. Tickets will be expensive for that, not as expensive as this. But I just. You think tickets for other college football games around the country aren't expensive? Are they? I mean, 100
is sold out already for next week's game.
I don't know if it's sold out for next week's game, but I mean, I don't. I mean, I'd have to guess to look to see if it is or not, but it probably is, and it's probably cost related. I just have a hard time. I mean, it's Ohio State, Oregon. It's a top 12 matchup, I guess, because they're 12th or whatever. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. He says that there's, you know, COVID. I want to say COVID, but I don't think COVID's keep people away. No one takes COVID serious right now anyways. When it comes to these sporting events, like when people want to go to something, they're going.
Right.
If they have to wear masks, they'll wear a mask. If they have to show their vaccination card, they'll complain about doing it. They'll even get fake ones off eBay to get into these things. But the bottom line is that they'll still go. It's interesting. And then,
is the at-home experience just that much better? I believe that at-home experience is that much better than going to a game. I like going to games. I used to love going to games. I would much rather watch a game at home, you know, clean bathroom, food that I actually want to eat. that isn't like super expensive, a beer that doesn't cost $13, you know, the good things in life.
They're $9, but okay, I see your
AC or heat.
It's 80. The temp's 80. I went to Florida Atlantic that game a few years ago. It was like 90 something degrees. It was miserably hot. I mean, it's 80. It's fall weather. It's football weather.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's gonna be beautiful on Saturday, no doubt about it.
I still feel though, Kev, if the game was at night, selling it out wouldn't be a problem.
That's fair.
All right, 518-1410. Let's go to the phones. Kev, who we got?
We got Shaw.
Shaw, how are you?
Not bad. How are you?
There we go. That's the energy I expect when you call. Upbeat. Your team's 1-0. That's the Shaw right there. That's the Shaw we need. How are you? What you got for us today?
Could the fact that it's not sold out have anything to do with maybe Oregon sent tickets back?
I mean, in the two articles I've read from 11 Warriors and others, that has not been illustrated in there. So I do not know.
Can you explain that? I'm not hip.
Well, for most home games, on games like that, from how I understand it, you send the opposing team some ticket. You tell them that there's a block of seats available. And I was just wondering if Oregon sent theirs back saying, we're not going to be able to fill them. Here you go. I'm sure you guys will. Here you go.
Oh, okay. Okay. I see what you're saying. So like the Oregon section of seats, they couldn't get enough Oregon fans to make the trip from Eugene to Columbus.
Exactly. Yeah.
Say, well, here you go, sell it out, because they still get a cut of the door anyway.
Right. That's what I don't know. I was hearing you guys talk about it right before the break, and it was just something that entered my mind. I was just thinking about it.
Yeah, I just Gene Smith just said we are expecting over 90,000 fans in the stadium, so we have approximately 10,000 still available for this coming game on Saturday. It says OSU Athletic Director Gene Smith was asked about having that many tickets still available for a marquee non-conference matchup. He goes on to say that I hope by Friday or Saturday that won't be the case, but the reality is there are probably some people who have apprehension. We will just deal with that, and by Saturday we will be full. And that's probably the case, but apprehension, and maybe the Michigan game and some others over the weekend were, 5 to 10,000 seats short until the night before. And then everyone just said, okay, fine, tickets are available. Let's go. I'll pay more. This might be a bigger deal come Monday if all of a sudden there's all these open seats up at the top. But
it won't be, because I've been in cases where I got buddies that are ADs and everything like that in situations, they get calls from certain schools that say, hey, you want to bring your team to this game. Here's 50 tickets for your track team, for your football team. Come to the Buckeye game on us. So all the tickets will be dispersed. The matter if people are actually going to go is a different story. All 10,000 tickets will be handed out to somebody. And that somebody goes to public schools, hey, man, the buddies around campus. Like Gene Smith knows a lot of people. I'm sure he's always got people begging for tickets. I'm sure he can just give them away if need be. So the tickets will be given out. Are the people going to show up in the stands? I think that's a bigger question.
Yeah, and it says, too, Ohio State, over the last 5 years, not counting last year, but from 15 to 19, were second. They were second in average attendance over the last 5 years when fans were allowed from 15 to 19. But during that stretch, they averaged 105,000 fans. And they said as of right now, if the game was today, it'd be 90,000 fans in there. I mean, that's 10. I mean, that's 15.
Who was one?
What's that?
Who was number one?
Tennessee.
Oh, it was y'all? Oh. Yeah. Speaking of that, I'm glad you brought that up. How'd you feel about Zach Charbonnet about to be a top 3 NFL draft pick now that he made that transfer out to UCLA?
Sounds like a cheap wine from Walmart, by the way.
Hey,
I agree. I agree with that.
No, Shaw, I took a shot at your team. You're not supposed to say you agree with that. You're ruining this thing. Damn it. But no, answer Kev's question.
Last year was the only year that he didn't really excel for us. He excelled for us in 2019. Last year he started the season hurt, and then I don't know if this is Michigan talk trying to make it sound better, which it probably is coming from up there. He had a bad attitude, and the coaches blah blah blah. I mean, the same running back coach isn't there. I don't know why you wouldn't want to run for Mike Hart. But the other thing too is he wanted to go home. How I feel about it, it stings a little bit, but again, we have another full running back room in Michigan. If they utilize the running back room well, it's going to hurt, yes, but it won't hurt as much as it could if they don't utilize the running back room. Higdon is good enough. Corum is more than capable of doing everything that Charbonnet is doing. I mean, I'm happy for him that he's out there excelling and doing very well, but he's showing me exactly what he showed me in 2019 and brings up more questions about 2020 if you want me to be honest about it.
Yeah, I just thought that him and Hassan Haskins could have been a 1-2 punch with y'all, but like you said, he transferred closer to home and everything like that. So we'll see how it works out for him. Starting the season out good.
With the whole thing with Corum coming in, I think he saw the writing on the wall. Plus, he wanted to go home because he was homesick. And for whatever reason, it's the same thing with Chris Evans, who just got drafted by the Bengals. Yes, he had academic problems in 2019, but he would have been third or fourth on the depth chart there, too, behind Charbonnet, Haskins, and I believe we had another freshman as well who wound up transferring out. It doesn't look good, and I understand the numbers don't look good there in Michigan, but for all the guys that have transferred out, Tariq Black, Nico Collins didn't play last year, so that doesn't count, but there's a bunch of other defensive linemen that transferred out. It hurts us for the depth this year, but all those guys that have transferred out, other than Hudson at Cincinnati, nobody has done anything to anywhere where they've transferred to. So I'm thinking it's more of a them problem than a Michigan problem. And, I mean, we've talked at length about Michigan's problems, so don't sit there and say this is just a homer take. It's just
Homer.
Yeah. Oh, I have a question for you, Justin.
Okay.
So you already threw out there that you think Iowa State's going to get crushed by – well, not crushed. You think they're going to get beat by Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
You want to put something on it?
No, why do you always want to put something on it? Why is everything like you have a problem? Betting is not legal in Ohio.
Yeah, it is.
Sports betting is not legal in Ohio.
Friendly betting.
Unless you go to Ultrafest.
It's a friendly bet amongst friends.
Oh, that's where you're wrong.
It's a friendly bet amongst the co-host, a host, and a listener who enjoys the show for some odd reason.
I don't know why you enjoy the show either. I haven't said one nice thing about you since this started. So, but no, I'm not making a bet with you. Just know, I mean, look, when someone's always, I mean, that'd be like Michael Jordan going to the gym and making bets that he's going to win. He just knows he's going to win. I just know I'm right and you're wrong. That's how it works.
Michael Jordan did that, though.
Uh-huh. I'm better than Michael Jordan. Have you been drinking? You're laughing. You sound upbeat. I mean, it's Sean.
I was on vacation for half a week, so I just got back from vacation.
Nice. That'll do it. That's where I'm at.
And we got an overrated win against Western Michigan, and Indiana lost, and there's a lot of good things that happened this past weekend.
Oh well, but all right. Until we talk again. Adios.
All right, man. Later.
All right, 518-1410, 518-1410. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. Conversation started. 10,000 fans. 10,000 fans, or 10,000 tickets still remaining for Ohio State, Oregon this coming up weekend. And that just, it's mind-boggling to me. But when Gene Smith talks about apprehension, I would have to know, before I can have an opinion on it, I would have to know, was there that delay in games selling out heading into week one? Was there apprehension with Michigan fans buying tickets to watch Michigan and Western Michigan? Was there apprehension for the Clemson Georgia game? I know that was a neutral site game, but was there apprehension there? It doesn't matter where the game is, so that's why I'm just not buying into this COVID thing, because no matter where you go, I've been to concerts, I've been to games, I've been everywhere. There's been no apprehension. If people want to go to a concert, they go to the concert. If they want to go to the game, COVID. If they want to go to the game, they go to the game. If they want to go to the concert, they go to the concert. And there's no apprehension across the country. So why would Columbus, Ohio be the one city where there's apprehension? Maybe it's the ticket prices. Maybe that's it. But I just feel like ticket prices are always expensive for those big-time non-conference matchups. Kev, who we have?
We got Charlie.
518-1410. Let's go to the phones. We got Charlie. Is this the Charlie? Yep, it sounds like Charlie. We'll get Charlie back on the line. We'll be right back. 518-1410. We'll talk with Charlie maybe next. Don't go anywhere.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
Call William Brockman and Sons Heating and Air Conditioning at 937-222-8638 for reliable Lennox products that can make the air in your home absolutely perfect. Ohio license number 14911.
Is your prostate waking you up more often than your alarm clock? The fact is, the older you get, the more likely you'll have prostate problems, which can affect your everyday life. That's where Prostate Complete by Real Health comes in. Prostate Complete is the result of 20 years of experience as a leader in men's health. The powerful formula in Prostate Complete supports natural prostate function and reduced urinary urges for a better quality of life. Available at Walmart. Visit prostateoneperday.com for special offers. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Now at Menards, save big money on your next project with 11% off everything. Refresh your home with a new coat of Dutch Boy Forever paint and primer in one. It offers exceptional hide and fade resistance for a beautiful color that lasts. Get 11% off Dutch Boy Forever exterior paint. Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Good through September 11th. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Your home for fun, food, sports, and spirits is also the home for value. Frickers! Frickers Everyday Values begin on Monday with boneless frickin' chicken wings. Tuesday offers traditional frickin' chicken wings. On Wednesday, enjoy a steak dinner. And on Thursday, frickin' chicken chunks. Kids eat free every day. And your favorite events are on TVs everywhere. This spring and every day, the home for Everyday Values is the home for fun, food, sports, and spirits. Frickers!
The rock celebration of the year. Collective Soul. Better Than Ezra. Just looking around, 2021. This Saturday night, Rose Music Center at the Heights. Collective Soul. Better Than Ezra. Special guest Tonic. 3 bands celebrate 3 decades. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Collective Soul. Better Than Ezra with Tonic.
Are you involved with a school or charitable fundraiser that holds an auction, bid and buy booth, or a raffle to raise money? Many of the most popular items at auctions or booths are autographed sports memorabilia items. How can you get great items in your event? Call Adam Walter at Sports Investments. Sports Investments has a consignment program for fundraisers that has provided outstanding items. You select items that are proven sellers, including autographed pieces from Tiger Woods, LeBron James, Joey Votto, the Big Red Machine, the Bengals, the Browns, UC, XU, UK, NKU, Dayton, Louisville, Notre Dame, and Ohio State. Sports Investments consigns the items to your group at a highly discounted price. And when they sell, you keep the profit. You don't pay anything in advance. And if something doesn't sell, you simply return it. You'll enjoy the experience of dealing with the Walter family. Call them at 513-891-5000. Email Adam at sportsinvestments.com or visit them on Montgomery Road, right off I-275, just 40 minutes from WING.
Did you know that it's time again for the annual stock reduction auction at A. Brown & Sons Nursery? Tell all your friends and neighbors, save hundreds to thousands of dollars on trees and shrubs. A huge savings that can't be beat. This Saturday, September 11th, starting promptly at 7:19 a.m. and lasting all day long. 4 auction rings with thousands of top quality shade trees, shrubs, evergreens, ornamentals, and perennials. If you're busy in the morning, come on over in the afternoon. Don't you dare miss this amazing event. Brown's Nursery is located just 1/2 mile north of Phillipsburg on State Route 49, only 4 miles from I-70 exit 24. Visit brownsnursery.com for more details. Click on the auction link. It's the annual stock reduction auction at Brown's Nursery, happening this Saturday, September 11th. Rain or shine, delivery will be available. Masks and social distancing to follow state guidelines. Brown's Nursery this Saturday, September 11th.
Attorney Joe Cordell.
New school, new job, new home. Change is hard and can leave you feeling isolated. And divorce delivers one of life's hardest blows. The relationships you counted on are suddenly gone. But you don't have to walk through this alone. For more than 30 years, Cordell & Cordell has guided men through the challenges of divorce. You're not alone. Call Cordell & Cordell.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Dayton area attorneys. 2689 Commons Boulevard, Suite 100, Beaver Creek, Ohio, 45431.
Vaccines are not enough, and accurate thermometers are essential for everyone. COVID is once again a major concern, and fever is the key symptom for both the flu and COVID. An accurate thermometer, like the Exergen temporal scanner, is essential to detect fevers early and reliably. Studies have shown that non-contact thermometers are ineffective and therefore dangerous, as they create a false sense of security. Exergen is working with a single focus to ensure that everyone who needs an accurate thermometer can purchase one. Learn more at exergen.com.
Forecast? Quality candidates ahead. Indeed skills tests help you find the right hire faster. Screen for skills your job requires. Hiring becomes a breeze. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Well, Jason, I've got to tell you, you're pretty much everything this company is looking for in an entry-level candidate.
Great.
Your resume isn't quite what we're used to, but you've got a fantastic work ethic.
Thank you.
And I'm impressed by how you carry yourself.
So, should we talk about the job?
Oh, what? The job? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have no way of recruiting or even meeting you. This interview didn't happen.
It may sound ridiculous, and that's because it kind of is. There's a huge pool of talent your company is missing out on. Meet the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Man, we really could have used him.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Don't miss the ESPN Dayton Glacier Softwater High School Football Game of the Week every Friday night, right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. College Football Hall of Famer Keith Byers and Justin Kinner will have the call all season long. Check out wingam.com for the complete schedule and to stream the games live. Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com.
College Football Hall of Famer Keith Byers and myself will be live at Wayne this Friday night for Wayne and Springfield. It's our Glacier Softwater High School Football Game of the Week. Looking forward to that matchup coming up here. Week 4 of the high school football season is officially upon us. Week 2 of the college football season and week 1 of the NFL. And that is favorite time of year. Favorite time of year. It's all going on right now, and it's starting to feel like football season now. Temperatures are cooling down a little bit. Oh, yeah, there's that NFL music right there, baby. Oh, man, but I have a, unfortunately, Bengals fans, your fun time of the year is over because reality kicks in on Sunday. The best part of NFL is it's those months of the offseason where every fan base feels like we got a shot. We really feel good about our quarterback. We like our skill position players. We our defense is improved. Every fan base out there feels it, and then reality kicks in week 1. And I went through that a few years ago. Baker's second year, they won 7 games. They had OBJ. Man, that offseason was fun, Kev. Talked so much smack. And then week 1 hit. They got routed by the Titans, and it never felt good from there. So week 1, it's when it all comes to an end for some fan bases, and I'm predicting it's that team an hour south of here. So I'm just throwing that out there, but nonetheless. Here's the only thing I hope for the Bengals this year. Joe Burrow stays healthy. That's the only thing that matters. Because everyone out there thinks I'm a big old bully and that I can't believe you're such a horrible person. I'm a horrible person, I know, but I'm not hoping that Joe Burrow gets hurt. I'm a horrible person for so many other reasons in life. Joe Burrow getting hurt's not one of them. I'm just because I predicted it would happen and I predicted it might happen again, doesn't make me a horrible person. So there's that. I can't wait, though. The Browns and the Chiefs. Greg Newsome was just announced as the starter, by the way, along with opposite side of Denzel Ward. He beat out Greedy Williams. You don't
say.
Shocker, I know. Your best ability is your availability, and so Denzel Ward. I mean, look, if you're not a starter for the Browns in the secondary, which I believe has one of the deepest secondaries in football, you're okay. You're going to get a lot of PT. Troy Hill's fantastic. I can't wait. Look, I'm just so pumped for Sunday. I'm driving to Florida all day Saturday, and then Sunday, I get to watch the Browns on the beach.
Storm's coming.
No, there's not. I checked. I learned my lesson from last year. There's no storm coming. 518-1410. Who we got, Kev?
Charlie.
Charlie! Don't hang up on me like last time. How are you? It's been a while. That's how I know it's football season. It's Charlie. Here we go.
That's right. That's right. You know what? You changed the phone number and everything.
I do that for my credit collectors too. You know, I'm just saying you got to mix it up every once in a while. It'd be hard to reach.
You know what? Anybody who can sit in a booth with Keith Byers and not like freak out is really got like a crazy brain. So hats off to you, because man, I listen to you guys, and Keith Byers isn't just some guy. Like that guy, he's a treasure. Like it's so crazy, like how composed you are. I'm giving you kudos right now. How composed you are in the booth with Keith is pretty amazing.
Well, for one, I appreciate that. I just dogged on your team, and you're calling in with compliments. See, I always feel bad whenever I dog someone's team, and then they're nice to me. But I appreciate that. You know, working with him working with us, we're lucky as hell to have him here. I tell you that much. You got to come out to Frickers one of these Sunday mornings, by the way, Charlie.
Yeah, well, I came out, what was it, last year? I think it was last year. He autographed the football for me. You were there, too, I think.
I'm that memorable. I think you were there. I'm not 100%, but Keith Byers, he was there. But, yeah, I think you were there, Kenner. I'm not 100%.
Kev, the funniest thing about Keith at Frickers, other than the fact that he just looks exactly like what you would think a legend would look like, he ordered chicken noodle soup at Frickers. Hilarious.
Yes, I know.
I didn't even know they sold that.
I think they make it just for him.
It's just so funny to see, like, you'd think, like, I'm going to get 40 wings. It's like, nah, I'm going to have some chicken noodle soup.
Well, to be fair, he gets the chicken noodle soup with the 40 wings, to be fair. I mean, he has to wet his palate first. So, but no, the chicken noodle soup, that's his staple. So when we get there every Sunday morning, you know, he has that, you know, the waitress knows to bring out the chicken noodle soup. It's there waiting for him when he gets there. In fact, this Sunday, Kev will be sitting alongside Keith Byers for the Sunday morning tailgate show. So we're pretty pumped about that.
Can't wait.
All right, so why do I have to feel bad for Baker Mayfield? Why is the media trying to force me to feel bad?
Did you just hang up on him?
No, I didn't. Charlie.
Can you hear me?
That Bluetooth is dropping again.
Oh, okay. But just, Charlie, we got to drop this, unfortunately, because we have to get to this Buckeye show at the top of the hour. Charlie, call back tomorrow. I promise you.
First in line.
I will tell you why you should feel bad for Baker Mayfield. So much disrespect towards the soon-to-be in the MVP conversation, Baker Mayfield. All NFL tomorrow. I'm excited. We're going to talk a lot of NFL tomorrow. Again, pretty pumped about that. We got through 3 hours of college football today. All right, that wraps it up for us, folks. Have a great night. Charlie, I hated to cut you off right there. We're just out of time. We'll do this again tomorrow. I will tell you why you should feel bad for Baker Mayfield, because the disrespect is just, it's piling on. It's way too much. It's like the defensive line on top of Joe Burrow. That's how much it's piled on, the hate and disrespect towards Baker Mayfield. Have a great night. The Buckeye Roundtable coming up next. Looking forward to that. All things Buckeyes coming up. Don't go anywhere.